Hello, welcome in everyone. Thank you for joining us. Today we'll be having a special guest. I hope you'll enjoy this topic. If you could take this time to share out this live, that'd be great. We'll be with you shortly. Hi everyone, how are you today? Say
Hey,
hello to Danny. Thank you for joining us today. Danny is going to tell us one of his paranormal stories before our other guest, Diane, comes on because she's actually finishing up her own live stream. So thank you so much, Danny, for joining us.
yeah. Uh, if you see there in the chit chat, I'm on my off-grid channel, guys. So hey, brother Boomer. Hey, Corey. Hey, Diane.
Hi,
Hey,
Diane. Hi,
James.
Corey. Boomer. Mhm.
Anyone else I missed? Hello. Yeah, I got a whopping 25
Same.
subscribers on this channel, so feel free to join this channel. Yeah. Uh, so I want to hear. Well, I was thinking I'll tell you my cryptic one. Basically, uh, when I ran into Bigfoot a couple of times, Sasquatch or whatever you want to call him, Bigfoot. Um, yeah, I can tell you about that. You want to hear about that?
Yeah, do the cryptid story. This is paranormal stories and cryptids, and Yetis and Bigfoot are very paranormal. So Danny is going to tell you that, guys, and I'm going to shut up.
All right, when I was younger, I was out camping, right? So we're at the Indian Rock Paint Face, right? So there's this huge, it's just a basic flat cliff that comes down. It's about 300 feet high. And right up near the top, there's some old native paintings, script way up at the top, you know. So it's kind of like a place where people go to check this shit out. It's a camping site, right? So anyway, I was there. I was a young guy then. I don't know how old I was, but I was a lot younger than I am now, maybe 40 years ago. Anyway, so I was sitting there one morning. I got up, put my coffee on, you know, on the campfire. I sat down in my chair and I looked over towards, I was looking at the rock painting, right? And I see this huge bear. At least I thought it was a bear at first, coming along the bottom, right? Okay. Well, then it stood up on its hind legs. I'm like, okay, that is no bear. And, you know, I'm looking at it. Oh, what is it? What is it? You know? And it wasn't a Wendigo. It wasn't a shapeshifter. And I'm looking, what is this thing, right? All of a sudden, it looks at, like, right towards me, just looked at me. And we're quite a distance, but I figured he was looking at me, right? Like we were quite a distance apart. Anyway, he just kind of looked at me, turned towards the rock, and one arm up like this, and then the next arm up, and he scooted up this thing, and like a free climber, you know. I know a few people that climb rocks, and they're super amazing at it, right? Free climbers, right? Anyway, this thing was huge, right? And the only thing I could say that it was Bigfoot because I mean it had to be 7 foot to 8 foot tall. It was a very dark brown. And lucky for me, the wind was not blowing in my direction, so I couldn't smell it. But anyway, this thing scooted up the side of this cliff. Maybe, like I say, 30 seconds, a minute later, not even. Uh, this thing's standing at the top. Right? It gets onto the top and it takes one or two steps away from the edge, stops, turns around, looks down at me, right? And it held that for like 5, 6 seconds, just looked at me, and then kind of went like this, turned and walked away. Never saw it again, right? But it changed my perspective on like because of my work and the things I've done and everything else. I know all kinds of different things that I've seen and dealt with, whatever. But that was the first time seeing a sash, and I was like, holy shit. So that was the very first time I ever saw one, right? And then a few years later, I was out at the homestead. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to go camping for the night away from the homestead just to get away from everybody because we had company over. And that wasn't very, it was rare that we had company out there. But there were so many relatives there over that weekend. They had 3 extra tents set up. I think there was like 18 people there, right? And they were there for like a week and a half, whatever. Anyway, after a couple of days, as you can imagine, uh, always being basically by myself or, only with 2 or 3 people, it got to me, right? So I said, I'm going out, guys. I'll see you in a couple of days. So I took off, went down to Washington River, this long ass river. It goes for miles and miles, right? Anyway, so I go down to this river, and there's this one nice, really clear spot. It's a very nice clearing on the one side of the river, and I always like to sort of camp out there, right? So I went there and I set up my tent and I built my little rocks and I made a little fire and right away, of course, put the coffee on and just sitting there, just relaxing and thinking about shit, not doing anything really, just sort of sitting there. And I hear bang, 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 and I'm like, what? It's scared the shit out of me because it was so quiet, right? All of a sudden, it just really loud bangs, right? So I turn, I look across the river. Now the river isn't really wide there. It's maybe a 50 foot across, 60 foot maybe across the river. I was about 10 feet, 12 feet from the edge of the water. And about 60 feet away is the other side of the bank, the other bank on the other side. Anyway, so I'm sitting there and I turn around. And again, first thought was a bear sitting there, like leaning over, looking into the water, right? But then the weirdest thing happened, right? It picks up this huge rock over its head and smashes it onto another rock, right? Bang, bang, does a couple more times. And I'm like, what the hell, right? And then I notice it tears apart like I think it was, and I can't be 100% sure, but I think it was a turtle. I think it was breaking the shell of the turtle and it pulled the turtle apart and it started eating, right? Anyway, it starts eating and it looks over at me and it literally took a bite and then it was looked up and it looked up like this right at me and just stared at me for a second, right? So of course I went, hey, and I looked at it for a couple of seconds and then I decided, nah, nope, I don't want to stare too long, right? So I thought, okay. So then I sat back in my chair like this, grabbed my coffee, nodded, drank my coffee, of course, kept an eye on him, on this side, eh? Started drinking my coffee, set my coffee down on the stump, and I'm watching him, but kind of not directly. And he sat there and he ate and everything else. Then he tossed whatever was left. I'm assuming, like I say, it was the turtle. He tossed the rest of it into the creek, stood up, took a step, looked, took another step, looked, took two more steps, and I couldn't see him no more. Like he took 2 steps into the trees, vanished, right? Like you just couldn't see him anymore. And I knew he was there because I didn't hear him walking it again. I didn't hear him going any further, but he was just 2 or 3 steps into the trees and he vanished, right? Like camouflaged so well that you could hardly see him, right? So I sat there for a couple of minutes and look back and forth once in a while, and then all of a sudden I hear crackle, crackle, and you can hear him walking away, right? So I'm assuming he stood there and watched me for a little bit. And then he said, okay, and he took off, right? Bye. So I said, okay, that's cool. So I ended up camping there a couple of days. And I was thinking, well, maybe I'll head back and see the people, but I don't really want to because I don't like them. But they did come out to see the family. So, and I was wrestling with the idea whether or not I wanted to go back. And it was early evening. I think by this time, sitting around doing nothing all day. I went and did a little bit of fishing on the creek and, just having a good day, basically doing stuff. So then I thought, well, okay. So I caught a couple fish. I think it was around 7 at night or something like that. Caught a couple more fish, and I've already had a fish. So I mean, now I got like 3 or 4 fish. So I thought, what the hell? Just for the shits and giggles, we'll see what happens. So I tossed them to the other side of the creek, like right over. And I was sitting there and cooking my fish and everything else. And finally, my fish was cooked, and I'm looking over. No, nothing happening over there. Right? So I started eating again, not paying attention, doing my own thing, and I hear splash, right? A huge splash, right? So I'm like, what the hell? And I turn over, and there, beyond anything I've ever seen before, is this monkey. For lack of a better word, it looked like a small monkey, uh, maybe a 3 foot tall, 4 foot tall monkey, right? And it's splashing in the water. And then I got so focused on that for the second, right? I didn't see nothing else for the first couple. So I'm like, what the hell? Right? And then I looked up and then I seen the one that was there yesterday, that big, huge guy, right? Anyway, he's sitting there and every once in a while he'd go like this in the water and splash the little monkey, the little one. And they were splashing back and forth. And I looked over and then he saw the fish and he grabbed the fish and they were big fish. I felt cheated because he got them all in one grab, like this, like poop, you know. Anyway, they were big fish, but he got them. And he looked up at me and he made this grunting noise, like like that, right? I said, well, you're welcome, like this sort of a deal. But just because it seemed like the thing to do at the time. And then it went, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's thanks or something. I don't know what that is. Anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm watching this little monkey one, you know, playing in the water, splashing, and the old man, he's splashing back once in a while. And all of a sudden, I don't know why, but I felt bad because I'm staring at this juvenile in the water, right? Like I felt like a pervert for some reason. I said, okay, you guys have a good time. And I turned my chair around so I wasn't staring anymore at this little monkey guy or girl, whatever it was, uh, playing in the water because I felt guilty for staring. It's weird. Anyway, so I sat there, I drank my coffee. I had already finished my fish and everything else, and a few minutes went by. Oh, all of a sudden, you hear splash, 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 splash. And then this thing that's out this big grunt, like this, was weird. And I turned around, and it's just standing there looking at me. And I says, well, hey, yeah, you have a good day. We'll see you next time, right? Now, you can't tell me that these things aren't caring and aren't loving or anything like that. Because it reached down with his hand, grabbed the hand of the little one, and went like this and flipped the little guy up on the shoulder, right? And poof, 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 walked away into the woods, right? And gone, just like that, gone. And I sat there and I listened again like last time, didn't hear nothing, dead quiet. And about 5 minutes later, you hear snap, 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 snap as it's actually leaving, right? So I got to the thinking that they're very observant, they're very caring, they're very family orientated, stuff like that. And I never had any single problems, no aggression, no nothing with them. Uh, just like they're just living their lives, whatever, right? And I heard of a lot of people say, well, they could be aggressive and they throw stones and they do all this shit and everything else. And I think about that, and maybe some are just grumpy. That's a possibility, right? On the other hand, they're hunting them. They're out actively looking for to find them. They're out literally hunting them.
Yeah.
Okay. Wilds. Like they're out in the wilds and they are hunting them. Okay. Let me tell you, if I was in the bush and you came hunting for me or my family, you would be in some serious trouble, right?
Yeah.
Like if I'm in the woods and and it happens because I've been in the woods a lot, and you run across a few people that say, "Hey, how are you?" Everything and whatever, right? There's never an issue. Everybody's friendly. Everything's good. If you come hunting for me, it's going to be a different story altogether, right? So these things are obviously very intelligent, right? And if they know that you're trying to find where they live, that's where their children are, that's where their wives or their husbands are, and you're hunting them to find out where they live, they may get aggressive. Like I would. I
Right.
don't know you from I don't know you from Adam, and you're running around my neighborhood looking for me for no apparent reason. Now, I don't know if you just want to take pictures. I don't know if you're coming with negative intent. I don't know if you want to shoot me, but I'm not going to take any chances. You might just want to come and have a cup of coffee. I don't know this, right?
Right.
I'm thinking a lot of the times when these negative things happen, have you stopped to think about what your actions were before that action took place? Like, were you doing something if you turn the tables, if you're what you're looking for, have you done something that might have put them on high alert, right? So anyway, that's my experiences with them. But in all my encounters, like I say, it's not like I got 100 million encounters or nothing, but in three encounters in 60 years, um, three times in 60 years, basically, that I've seen them. Every incident was a very respectful, a very, um, they were curious about me. I was curious about them. It was very respectful. It was very calm. There was nothing. It was just like, oh, wow, is that ever cool? Sort of, I think from both sides, right?
Right.
So, so in my opinion, I think, in my case anyway, I think because of how I treat nature and how I treat everything and how everything is joined to get everything is one in my mind.
Right.
Maybe that's why my interactions are different than other people's, right? I don't know.
Right.
I have no answer. Like I'm not. Uh,
Right. Right. Well,
I'm
like
not
because you would think that the spirits you interact with the Bigfoot. I'm assuming the Bigfoot could probably see spirits. I'm not sure. I never asked, but um, if they can, then your guide would be like, "Oh, he's cool," or whatever. I'm assuming,
I don't know, but like it was a very every experience I had with that was very kind of like enlightening, but that's not the word. It's like very lifting, right? Like to think that there are other humanoids, okay, which they've got the same intelligence as us. They're just as smart as us. They can do the things that we do. They take the same pleasures that we have. You know, um, when my kids were young, I used to love to take them to the beach. I used to love to take them out fishing. I used to love to take them bowling, right? And
yeah,
here we are, and you got to remember at the homestead, it's 33 miles before you get to a road. Okay. You
yeah,
have to go across two lakes to get to my homestead, right? There's no road. And then it's 33 miles from there till I get to a road. Hi, Diane.
yeah.
It's 30. until I get to a road. And here, way the hell in the middle of no place, right? I come across a being who loves its family, that takes the kid out swimming and fishing and doing all the crap that I've always done with my kids.
Right.
Like, how perfect is the world when you leave it the hell alone to do what it's supposed to do, right?
Right.
Like, it's just, if you leave nature to nature, how perfect is it? Only
Exactly.
us people can screw that shit up. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like, it's us people that screw the shit up. We're going to make this river better. Oh, how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to bring in bulldozers and tractors and pollute the ground and tear up the earth and dig it deeper so more water can pass to wash away the fish so that we can go fishing. Like, no, just leave it alone. Nature will
Yeah.
take care of itself, right?
Right.
And like, to see that, and to see the way that nature always produces itself and always takes care of itself. And people always say, oh, well, we do things better, we do whatever. And then you'll see this town that someone built because of the gold rush. And all you can see is trees coming out of the roofs of wooden buildings, and no more windows because the branches have gone through. Nature takes over again.
Yeah.
No matter how good you are, or how perfect you are, or how much science you have, nature's going to win
That's right.
every time, right? Every time. And and I believe that the things that live in the nature, like the Sasquatch, lives in a harmony of peace. And I don't believe for 1 minute that they're going to be aggressive to other people if you're bringing peace.
Right.
But if you're hunting them, if you're doing all this stuff, and they don't particularly have cameras, so they see you raise something up and you're pointing at them, it's a foreign object, they're not going to be happy with you, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's my whole take on it. That's all my experiences with them, you know. But I can tell you what, the last experiences I had with them was over 25 years ago, and it made such an impression in my mind that it's still like yesterday. You
Yeah.
know, it's still like, wow, that just happened. Like, that's how impactful it was for me to see another creature that is enjoying life the way that we're meant to, right? And not having any cares about nothing. Like, what else do you want? So to me, it was
That
just an experience that really kind of reset a lot of the stuff that I believe. So,
that's right. Danny, now everybody who came in, thank you so much to the Raiders. Diane, welcome in. Um,
Hi.
Danny is my boyfriend, but also a fellow YouTuber who has an off-grid station. I pinned his comment if anybody's into off-grid stuff. He just got an off-grid land that he's doing, so please subscribe. Um, he
oh,
also does
go ahead.
paranormal, but that's a separate station. So, Danny,
Yeah.
before you leave, to put in, share in this your regular channel too.
Well, now Jason Bones Inspectors. That's my
Yeah.
paranormal channel. I worked in the paranormal for over 55 years. That was my actual job. I worked for the diocese and with the council and with the shaman and the druid society. So I've been doing that for a little while, but I've retired now. So now I just do it for fun, right? Like, I just do
Right.
things. See, like, I like it now because if someone gets picking up out of bed and thrown into the wall, that's not my problem, right? I go there, I see what they do, I say, oh, that's not nice. That's all I gotta do. I don't have to deal with it anymore. So that's kind of good.
Mama, thank you so much for the gifts of the membership.
Thank
Um,
you. And then my other channel is Danny Strongman. I've competed. I was in a wheelchair for over 7 years. I was 515 pounds. I lost 265 pounds, learned to walk again, and I entered a strongman contest. Came 13th in an open contest. So
yeah.
I was supposed to enter the masters, which is they have a master's class, right? Which is 40 and over. I would still be 20 years older than anybody competing, right? But they didn't have a master's class, so I had to just go into the novice open, and I still came in 13th. So hey, I was pretty happy with that. And then of
Yeah,
course now I got my off grid channel. So and it's got a whopping 25 members, not members. What do you call it?
Subscribers.
That
yeah.
thank you.
Well,
I got a
well, he just
whopping
started.
25.
Yeah,
What's
he just
that?
started a month ago because that's when he got the off-grid place. So yeah,
Yeah, I
guys,
used
check
to
it
have.
out. If you like the strong man, he'll I'll put all his links in the description too. If you like team training for strongman, he has the strongman channel. Then he has the off grid, and then he has the paranormal, which he's not been as active on lately because he's doing the other stuff. And that's why I'm here doing paranormal.
Oh, yeah, but I was gonna say one other thing about I guess it was important, you know.
Tony, I'm gonna try to find Eloise a little bit.
Okay,
Sorry,
I'll
I'm
try.
telling my I'm telling my husband to look out for Eloise when we went to Eloise Asylum because there were some interesting things, and Brian put together my partner, my old partner, my old uh, podcast partner. He put together a little video and of like the highlights, and so that's what I was trying to tell him to look for. But I know this is the ghost story, right? We're supposed to tell our ghost stories here.
Yeah, you're gonna tell your paranormal experience. I think Danny has to go though, and I just wanted to make sure we gave him enough
Oh,
time.
sure.
Um, because I figured you were gonna take a few minutes off from your to get ready for when you got off your stream. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Danny will come on and tell his Sasquatch story while we wait for Diane.
Thanks for
Yeah,
giving me a
so
few minutes.
yeah, well, I figure put a do something that way everybody gets a chance to do whatever. But yeah, so anyway, those are my three channels, and you're gonna have to link them in there or whatever before
I'll
we
link
go
him
to
in there.
yeah, because I don't do that shit. You know, me and technology, yeah.
Ugh, I know. We need actually a Tony to come and do our shows. We need Diane's husband to do all this stuff. Wait, the
I
strong. Um,
I need a whole
I
team
know.
to do my shit. I don't. Yeah.
I know. Well, you have the three channels. I tried to do three channels, but I couldn't. I
Well,
couldn't do it. So I just stuck to putting everything on one channel.
And that's
yeah,
what
Um,
we did.
I did that. See, I used to put everything. That's what I was gonna say. Now I remember. Thanks for that.
Christina, I'll be right back, okay?
My
okay.
original channel was called Danny's Off Grid Flat. That was my original channel, right? And then I started doing the paranormal channel because of Georgie and the kids and everything. Then but when I tried to put too many things on one channel with my dyslexia and my OCD, it just messed me up. So I just keep everything separate, and it's easier for my brain.
Yeah. All right. So there's your strong man, and then
Hi, everyone that came in.
and then yeah. Because I don't think you could do all the names this time. Now you
No,
you changed it though to what? Danny from CBS or something? CBS.
I just changed it back to Chasing Bones Inspectors.
Oh, you're killing me.
It's the same channel. I just put the name back to the original name.
Yeah. Okay, Jason. Yes. But when I'm searching now, like okay, share, copy link. Okay, so that one is a strong man, and this one is his. He has some great stuff on there. Um, so check it out. This is the paranormal one.
Done.
Um, there we go. See, I can work it. I can
There you
drop
go.
some links when I need to.
There we go. Like I always tell everybody to I'm retired now. I don't do any. I don't run out and do stuff anymore. I do counsel if the diocese or someplace needs counsel about a certain object or whatever. I do that. But anyone that's on my Facebook or any of my fams or any of the YouTubians, if you ever need any help or advice, I'm always here for you. Don't ever be afraid to say, hey, look, this shit has happened. I don't know what it is. It might be paranormal, might not. Don't be sitting there suffering in silence. Don't do that. Okay. Get a hold of
Yeah,
somebody and because that shit'll mess you up forever, right?
yeah,
So don't sit in
yeah,
silence. If you have no choice whatsoever, just drop me a line and I will try to help you if I can, right?
yeah.
There's never any
Or you guys can get me, and I will get Danny if I can't help you. So yeah.
yeah. So just don't ever sit in silence, right? If you need help, the stupidest thing you can do is not ask. Okay. If you need help, if you find yourself in a situation where you need help, then ask. Okay.
Miss Anonymous in the chat says I dealt with that my whole life. So if you have, if you want help, and I will reach out to me and I will tell you guys and we can all hook each other up, right? You know what I mean? If you need something.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. If anybody in your chat is having any problems and they're like, I don't know what to do, of course, you send them to me. I also cross over spirits, guys. So if there's something in your house that you don't know um, what's going on, um, you can just say out loud to your guide, hey, do you know this lady? And all you have to do is literally, this is how your guides do this. All you have to do is put on my channel, play one of my videos, and go, this lady crosses over spirits. Does this one need to go? Bring him. And I guarantee they will bring the spirit to me to cross over, and you will not have to deal with it. As long as it's good, because if it's bad, it can't come here. My protector will smite it, probably. But yeah, but other than that, we take them. So yeah. 2 years it took you to do it yourself. Oh wow, Tommy. Yeah, it's hard.
My audio sounds blown out. It does.
Sounds good
Does,
to me.
does it sound bad?
No.
No, it's like it sounds like you're talking into a really expensive mic, and we're not. That's why.
Well, it's not that
Tommy
expensive,
is
but it's
listening.
we did hook up a studio. You know what I mean? And we did spend a lot of money on computers and stuff to get everything set up here. But it's all besides the point. It's we're trying to you're trying to help people in your way, and I'm trying to help people in my way on my channel, uh, whether it's the music channel or the political channel. You know what I mean? It's like either way, I'm trying to help people. So I think we're all out
That's,
there doing the same thing. It's good.
Well, man,
that's
it was
right.
a pleasure to meet you. But I
Nice
gotta
to meet
go.
you, Danny.
I gotta go take care of my mommy because she's not feeling well. So
Okay.
I'm, I'm gonna go do that. Blessings to everyone in the chat. Thank you for coming and supporting and get to know each other and have a good time. Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
Right.
See ya.
Thank you so much for coming in and telling your story.
Okay.
I'm gonna just I'm gonna have to scroll back and like listen to the beginning of that so I can hear what his whole story was about because I missed most of it.
That's okay. Yeah, you'll have to go back and if Tony likes like the strongman stuff and whatever, oh my God, it's such a inspirational story. Watching how he went from when I met him, he was in a wheelchair, you know, trying to do paranormal stuff for YouTube and help people, and then he literally got out of the wheelchair and went to a strongman contest. Like I was like, what?
Whoa, how does that happen? So yeah, no, that's great. It sounds great. Very inspirational. That's
Yeah.
huge. Yeah. So thank you again for having us on. We had so much fun, and last Saturday, coming on with you, Spy, Benny, and myself.
Oh, I had a lovely time with you girls. Like I said, you inspired the story that I wrote, which will play on your show next Thursday before it even goes on mine. So I'm excited about that. And then I am also, because I like spiritual learning. Um, Thank you so much, Kevin. Um, I like doing spiritual learning, but I like doing teaching in general. So now I'm doing little mini series. I'm going to do some. Um, I'm doing like know your constitutional rights for dummies. I don't know what to call it though, because I don't want to insult anybody, but just so everybody really knows what the Constitution says, every single
Right.
amendment, what it means in like kindergarten form, but just so
Yeah.
people know, because some people also, not only that it's for
Maybe
dummies,
just
it's
call it know your rights, not
yeah, whatever you
constitutional.
say.
Just know your rights because they're all constitutional.
No, well, that's right. So I want to do the Constitution, lay it out like in very layman's forms. Also for people who, you got to remember, it's only in English. Um, what if there's a language barrier and people really don't understand what these words mean when they're reading it, right? So I want to do it in. I started doing it in very layman's like terms and very easy to understand, so that everybody knows their rights. Because I want everybody to know their rights.
Right.
And then
How
I'm
about
also
Robert
doing
Carr in the chat says rights reminder.
rights reminder. There you go. And I was gonna do like the constitutional cliff notes. I was gonna call it something like
Ooh,
that.
I
Like,
like that. Constitutional cliff notes.
yeah.
I like that. Everybody knows what cliff notes are. I really like that one.
Does everybody know? Because then I was telling Danny, does everybody know what cliff notes are? And he's like, I don't. I'm like, yeah, but you're in Canada.
Well,
You know,
only
you're in
millennials will
Canada,
know.
so they don't do that shit in Canada.
Young kids would not know what cliff notes are because you actually had to read a book still. You couldn't just look
Yeah,
that shit up on the fucking internet.
because it on the internet. Mm-mm.
Cliff notes. The yellow and black books. I remember. Oh my God.
Yep. But I used to look at it like for Constitution for Dummy. I know, Adam, because you know that they had those yellow books like that you would get for your classes, like
Yeah, it would be War and
something
Peace.
for dummies, driving for dummies. They had like 500 books, and they called it for dummies.
Yeah,
But
I know the dummies thing, but that was like chicken soup for dummies, and it started out like that way. But what I'm
yeah,
saying is Cliff Notes. Cliff
yeah,
Notes were I don't know, a summation of a book. So you take something like War and Peace, right? And they
yeah,
would break it all down in the major points. So you didn't have to read 1,000 fucking page book
right.
because I still don't have fucking time to read 1,000 page book. You know what I'm saying? Like we've been, I don't know what it is about our era where I find it harder and harder to sit down and have time to sit down and read a book. I'll
Well,
read
and
the
I think,
fucking internet all day. And if I read the internet, you know how many words I've read all day? You know what I mean? But like, it's
but
all just trying to keep up with the
you got a
show.
whole
And
you got so much more information from reading 500 of those little snippets online than you would reading,
a
one
whole book.
documentary book of a
Right.
thousand
Yeah.
pages.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and that's what it is. Society is fast paced now, and it's fast paced because, like most people spend not only 40 hours at work, but when I used to live in Long Island and I had to travel to work, it was 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours at night, and night. That was 24 hours a week. So it's not, I actually didn't work 5 days a week. It was like I worked 6 days a week because of the amount of hours between the
Hours just
traveling and,
traveling.
that I put in working.
Yeah.
So there's no time for that, anymore. There's just not.
Well, I think it's all this, our society demands it. We
Yeah.
don't have time. We got bing, 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 bing. We're constantly moving. And
Yeah.
I feel like there is no time. Like if you go to France, if you go to Italy, they leave work at like fucking 4. They like work 4 or 5 days a week. You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
don't, they're not as pressured. I think what it is that, yeah, The reason why we need to succeed, we need to go to work, we're going to run here and run there, and I need to do everything, blah, 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 blah. We're pressured to do that because of the
Yep.
fucking atmosphere we live in. And it's not just social media. I wouldn't even blame it on social media. I would
No.
literally blame it on just like the pace of life now. It
Yeah.
used to not be like this before.
Oh no.
People would take their fucking time. There is no fucking taking your time.
Yeah.
I've never been so fucking impatient in my life
Oh,
than I am now. You know what I mean? And I think
I was thinking about that the other day, and somebody was like, "Oh, you're getting to be a Karen," and I'm like, "Don't say that." But it's not that, it's just that because society changed so much, you have different expectations. So, like, I expect when I order something online in, let's say, Indiana. Okay, it takes me to fly to Indiana 2 hours, right? 2 hours, 30 minutes, So I'm expecting a package. If it's something that you have and you sold me online and you send it out
instant
that
gratification.
day, I don't think it should take 2 weeks. I just don't. Listen to me. Put them all on a plane and send that shit over here. And
We've been
nothing
spoiled.
takes more than 5 days to ship when you're in
We
the
have
United
been
States.
spoiled, Christina. We've
I
been
know.
spoiled with instant gratification. Do you remember when we were kids? Remember when we were kids? We didn't have cell phones.
Oh, I
You
know. I
had to
had a
go
beeper.
home. You had to wait for your friends to call and where we were going to meet up. If we are going to meet up at the ice cream store or we're going to meet up at the wall in front
Yeah.
of the police station, where we're going to meet. You know what I mean? Like
Hi,
you
Maria.
had to wait. We don't. Nowadays, it's total instant gratification. And because we grew up in the era that we grew up in, where we actually rode our bikes and touched grass and did stuff.
Yeah, I actually used to eat grass sometimes. You know,
Well, I would say I would eat grass, but I
we
would
had mud
definitely,
pies for
yeah,
dinner.
yeah. So it's like where when we grew up, things were it seemed kind of low key, but we didn't have the internet. Like maybe it is social media, maybe it is the internet, maybe it is computers, because I had to get a degree in graphic design in order to make somebody's business card or a
Yeah,
flyer for their business, right? Now everybody has the internet and you can make your own business card and your own flyer. So it totally made my whole education totally fucking obsolete in 1994 when the fucking internet came out. Okay, like
that's what it is. My father's best friend worked in printing. He worked at the CBS newsroom
yeah,
um, as a printer, printing out papers and newsletters and all sorts of shit. He was a printer. Then the automatic printer came out, right? Where you just press a button and it fucking prints it,
yeah. You design that shit on a
After
computer.
years, they were like, bye, we don't need printers anymore. We don't need to pay people to do the printing because the machine does it. And it just got rid of all those people's jobs. So, like, yeah, it
Well,
was.
yeah, it
And at
totally made
50,
my job obsolete as a graphic designer.
yep,
Absolutely. And
yep,
that's why I ended up going into music because I was going to school in Chicago. And what else are you going to do? Go to art school or go to the fucking bar and play blues all night? You know what I mean? Like, I did both. Can I get a beer and a cigarette, Tony? I
both
don't know
Maria.
where my cigarettes went. You stole them from me. I know you did, you bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Here it comes. I'm kidding. He's keep rolling his eyes at me. You cut it out. No, so
I'm both, Maria, Greek and Italian.
I'm
So,
Italian, German, and Scottish. So yeah,
all
it's all of the above.
of the So yeah, so I started making that video. So that Constitution
Okay.
video I'll probably put out next week, and then I'm going to make, because I was thinking about it. Benny said something to me about the 4th of July because I made a little craft for the 4th of July. And I said, you know what, Benny? I bet you half the people, I bet they don't teach it in school anymore. God only knows. I bet you all these kids don't even know what Independence Day really is, you know? So I
Well,
said, I'm gonna make a video about the history of Independence Day because I think we need that too.
I think that teachers are being held back. They're not
Yeah,
allowed to tell kids what the fucking truth is anymore. Not that
yeah.
I think they did when they were teaching me.
Oh, they
Because
did it.
wait a minute. Like after the fact, like I remember being in like junior high or high school, and they're
Yeah,
like, George Washington was the shit, and fucking they were all the shit, and they were so cool, and they made this country so cool. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not kind of buying it. And then we found out that like George Washington had teeth made out of, they weren't wooden teeth. They were actually teeth made of from slaves. You sick fuck. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Oh, and we're supposed to worship the ground you walk on. Fuck you. And
yeah,
fuck Christopher Columbus killing all the fucking indigenous people. Fuck all you people. You know,
yeah,
you enslaved people, you fucktards. And that's what
yeah,
I don't, that's why I think it's very important that we actually do teach the correct history. I remember
yeah.
being a kid and
Oh
being
yeah.
pissed off about
I would
learning
teach
about
all
the real history and going, you know what? We need to learn this so we never fucking do it again.
right. Well, oh, that's what my history teacher used to tell me all the time. If you don't know your history, you'll be bound to repeat it. But I had did a video, and Benny, of course, Benny was like, "Thank you for telling the truth." And I was like, "Of course. What else would I do? I'm doing a learning video." I did the truth about Thanksgiving
Yeah.
because that whole thing was a big lie. And when I read about it, and it wasn't too long ago. Like I believed the whole hoopla until I was like, I'm gonna read about Thanksgiving for the harvest and all this. And when I started reading it, I'm like, what the freak?
Yeah.
You mean it wasn't all daisies and like what the hell is going on? you know?
Yeah, it wasn't daisies and flowers and rainbows and everybody get along. No, there was a trail of tears. There was, yeah, somebody just, yeah, Miss Anonymous, the Trail of Tears. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? It's like, you know, we never even knew about the goddamn Tulsa massacre until Dinky wanted to have a rally in Tulsa on the anniversary of the date. Now, it was never brought to my attention in my fucking history book that
yeah,
happened. In fact, you know what I really wish I still had? I wish I had my high school history book. So I could flip through the pages and be like, oh, what the fuck did they say about this? And then be like,
yeah,
oh, yeah, this is total fucking bullshit.
yeah, yeah. I know everything was and then
How long
here
is
we
that?
are in the school
Uh,
play. I think I played a little pilgrim woman, and like you act out these plays for Thanksgiving, and you're like, these fuckers are making liars out of us,
right,
like
right, right.
from
So, Christina,
from babies, basically.
just FYI, Tony found the Eloise video. It's 20
Oh,
minutes long now. And you know, you don't have to play it or whatever, but it is 20
oh,
minutes long. We could do
but
some needle drops. We could do needle drops and that might be fun. And then
oh,
it's the
what
what
I'm
is
gonna
it
tell
called?
you to do, it's if you just know how to share on StreamYard, 'cause that's what you use too, right?
Yeah. Well, Tony sent it to you through email.
Okay.
So you oh wait, through StreamYard.
Oh, through StreamYards. Okay. See, I know how to do
So, okay. But before we even get into that, I kind of want to get into my own little ghost story.
Yes, I want you to tell
Okay,
your
so
paranormal story. That's what I want.
yeah, because it's short. It's not that long. Okay. And it was just a fucking odd time in life. All right. So I'm in my first apartment in college in Chicago, and it's a fourth floor walk up. It's super old. The fucking building is just super old. It's brick. It's cold. When the wind blows, my shades would move. You know what I mean? It was like one of those buildings. Okay, so fourth floor walk up. My girlfriend, who I also grew up. She was a family friend, and she was in London doing um, cartoon screens for literally painting the cartoon screens like the vellums. Do you know what I mean? When they painted the vellums and then they would change each color. Yeah, each thing would
Yeah.
move and they would change. Okay. She was doing that, and I forget for who. It was some famous person in London. She was coming back to the States, and her flight stopped in Chicago for a layover. And so she visited me in college. And I said, well, you have to come and we have to hang out because I just love and adore you. And I knew she was kind of a medium. Like she was always, with the crystals and the ghosts and the stuff. And I didn't know what to think. Like, I wasn't really into it. And I guess I was just kind of oblivious to it, if you will. Like I never got into it yet before, but she was way into it and crystals and tarot and everything. So I had no idea what was going on. And coming from London, if you've ever been to London, I went to London for 10 days. So it's a very, very old place. And if you think that there's nothing, just floating around in the air around there, because there's something there, okay? Like there's a vibe. It's a fucking old place. And when you got an old place, you're going to have ghosts. So, and that's my opinion. So anyway, so she comes to visit. We are in my apartment and we're just shooting the shit. And she's telling me all about her London escapades and stuff. And I've been telling her what's going on here and this, that, and the other thing. And it was daylight. It was daylight out. That's what even freaks me out even more. So
they come at all times.
Yeah. The way my apartment was set up, it was like my bedroom was over here and the front door was right here. And then there was a long hallway, and off the hallway, a kitchen would be there, and then there would be a living room, and then at the other end of the hallway, it was my roommate's bedroom and her bathroom. Okay, so it was just a long, narrow apartment in this building. And so we're talking. And I just like, whatever, I don't even remember what we're talking about. Just bullshit, whatever, bullshitting, shooting the shit. And she goes, Diane, I don't want to scare you, but I want you to look up and look down the hallway and tell me if you see what I see. I turned, I looked down the hallway, and I'm like, there's a fucking ghost down our hallway. Down my hallway. I shit you not. Now, I felt like it was a very kind of short man in a like overcoat, hat, like the old school days, like in the 20s, old school dress. No legs, just standing, floating there. Okay. And of course I freaked out because this is the first time I think I've ever seen a ghost in my life. And I would swear on anything you give me that I saw a ghost. This isn't a fake. This isn't bullshit. This is fucking true. And you also have to remember the Chicago fires in the late 1800s and that a lot of people perished then. And okay, so anyway, I said, I have to leave. I have to leave the apartment. I'm freaked out. So we leave. We go to a bar. It's actually a pool hall. And we go to a bar, pool hall kind of place where they have burgers and stuff. And we get some food and we start playing pool. And we're trying to just kind of evade the subject. And then it's the same day that Stevie Ray Vaughan died in a helicopter crash on his way from Wisconsin to Chicago to do a concert. So everybody was freaked out now. The bar owner shut the doors. Everyone drinks for free. Everything's on the house, and we're playing nothing but Stevie Ray Vaughan for the rest of the night. The owner had tickets to Stevie Ray Vaughan the next night. So now it became all about Stevie Ray Vaughan. Very, excellent musician, blues, excellent guitar player. Like, just everything was about that. So it was kind of a great distraction. Not to be say anything great about a musician's death. It was fucking awful. And we just listened to Stevie Ray Vaughan and drank beer all night. And then it was time to go home. And I was kind of scared. And it was funny because we're walking back to the apartment. And I go, it's weird because ever since I moved here, I always felt like somebody's following me. And I'm like, I thought maybe it was me being paranoid, moving to a big city by myself. And, I don't really know anybody. I don't have many friends. And you know what I mean? I thought maybe it was just like me being paranoid. And she goes, on the way back, she goes, you don't by any chance have a Ouija board, do you? And I'm like,
No.
oh, shit. Yes, I do. In fact, it's my mother's from when she was in college. And so the box is all tattered and the thing in the middle of the clear part that's in the middle of the thing that it magnifies it is like missing or whatever. Yeah. And so I said, yes. In fact, I do have a Ouija board. My mom gave it to me before I left. And it's one of those things you do in college. I don't know. So we brought it out. And she's like, now she's telling me, she's giving me directions. You have to ask the questions. They have to be yes or no. They have to be very direct and specific and da-da-da-da and whatever. And after 20 million beers and listening to Steve Ray Vaughan all night, I was like, yeah, not so much. Not doing so well. But anyway, I did get out. The guy had my dad's initials. He died in the fires in the 1880s, and he was my guardian angel. And he was there to protect me, not that I should be should fear him or whatever. And I was just so floored. First of all, my dad's initials, that really kind of freaked me out. That's just kind of weird. And also like a cow or something started the Chicago fires. Do you remember the story about the Chicago fires? Like a cow started the fires. I don't know. There was something about a cow. That's all I remember. And then I was after 20 million beers and listening to Stevie Ray Vaughan all night and playing pool and trying to figure, it's kind of hazy. So anyway, I felt so much better after that day because I wasn't scared anymore. I wasn't
Right.
When I was really freaked out before, I wasn't freaked out anymore. And
Right.
even though I did eventually move out of that place because it was like just too cold in the winter and my roommate was a total C word. I had to get the hell out of that place.
Well,
that?
if he was your decided that he was going to look after you and be your protector, it doesn't matter where you go. He'll attach to your keys and go with you and hang out with you to protect you. So he could still be there.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I haven't felt any presence or anything weird like that, but Tony did pull it up. Tony pulled it up. He goes, the exact cause of the Great Chicago Fire remains a mystery, but the most widely accepted legend is that a cow kicked over a kerosene lantern in the O'Leary barn, sparking the blaze. The fire spread rapidly due to dry conditions, wooden buildings, and strong winds. So I believe that in Chicago because living in Chicago, it's the windiest fucking place on earth.
Yeah. Call it the Windy City.
They call it Windy City for a reason.
That's right.
Just a quick story about the wind. I was at a party and we went for a beer run and I borrowed a big leather jacket from a dude. And I walked around the corner and I was literally at a 45-degree angle like this, walking against the wind because the jacket was so big, it was like a kite. And so I'm like, ooh, at least it's easier on the way back and the wind's pushing me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my short
fly, right? Because it's like the wind beneath my leather jacket.
Borrowed leather jacket because the temperature dropped all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Like one of those things. But yeah, Chicago. interesting place. Loved it. Lived there for 4 years. I love Chicago, and that was my little ghost story. And I will swear on anything you want me to that I saw a ghost. And the only reason why it showed itself is because my girlfriend, the medium, was there.
I think so, because then he knew you wouldn't be so afraid. So he wanted to let you know that, hey, I'm looking after you, and that if you ever need him, you could call upon him. And so, he figured she who would be more open to it, so you just wouldn't run out of the house screaming and maybe get killed in the street, by running out into the car, the
Freak
street
out.
into the car. He figured she would be like, calm you down. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, I think
Like
that
my
was a good move.
yeah, my protector showed himself the first time to me. Well, I was doing a live stream, and I was in Long Island. I was doing a live stream at this haunted house that was across the street from us. And I mean, every time I would go there, people would be like, "Run, there's something in the window." There's like crazy things would happen in this house. So I decided to go earlier when it wasn't so dark and do a live stream so we could actually look and see if other people could see things or whatever. And my one of my friends, Tammy, took a screenshot and she's like, "Look at this guy." I'm like, "Oh, that's the tree god." So the first time, now I just knew he was a tree god, like a elemental. So I didn't know he was my protector, right? I just knew. I'm like, "Oh, cool." I can't believe I got one on film or whatever. And later on, when they said, "Oh, you know just my boyfriend Danny, who's worked with," he's like, "Oh, that's the protector." And I don't know what made me think of it, but all of a sudden, out of the blue, like 2 months later, I called him and I'm like, "Hey, is my protector look like this if I send you a picture?" And I sent him a picture, and he's like, "Yeah, that's your protector." And I'm like, "Oh my God." And he was with me all that time because the girl had showed me it. And then when I went back on the live stream, he was there on the live stream. So it's like they want you just to know they're there. They're not going to make a big deal, and they don't want to scare you. Because if I would have seen that, like by myself, not on a live stream,
Mhm.
uh, you know,
It would have been
come like
freak out.
my yard or something, I might have had a heart attack, you know? So,
Okay. So wait a minute. Tony. Okay. So Tony is playing things and I can hear it in the background. So
oh, that's okay.
um so Tony has found the 20-minute.
Okay, good. Benny wanted us to play something. Um, and I could see if I could play it. I can't, I'm on a phone now that I think about it. Um,
Well,
I'm
Tony
on
can share the screen if you want us to do it.
so yeah, Benny, are you still here, Benny? Send the little clip to yeah, we'll play her clip too. Her clip was so interesting when she was on stream and the door closed. I was there in that stream when it was live. Um,
Yeah.
so
I'd love
Benny,
to
yeah,
see that.
yeah, Benny, can you send it to Tony so he could play it? Let's see. I know she's still here in the bushes. I know she's here in the bushes.
Oh, I maybe okay, maybe. Okay. All right. So let me see if she's still around. I don't see her in the chat. Oh, there she is.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
you are, Benny. Can you
yeah,
send the clip to Tony and Tony will share it? So
yeah.
anyway, so Tony and his friend and my friend, I went to school with Brian. I've known Brian since we were in junior high school, or I don't think elementary school, junior high, I think so. And Brian took. I thought you had the Eloise.
Yeah, but what's Benny's?
I don't know where Benny's is yet.
Where is she sending
She
it?
she sent it to you. She's just now. She said.
21st century subjects or
Uh,
probably 20.
Where'd you send it, Benny?
yeah. She said she's cooking dinner. I sent it to 5 eggs. So where, sweetie?
Instagram. Instagram.
Instagram. There you go. I should have
gonna make-
figured it would be on Instagram.
Yeah, but how do
Yeah,
I-
I'm gonna make a cigarette. So 1 second. I'll turn my
All right.
It's a little loud, so I'm just gonna turn my mic
I'll
off.
take over your show. I'll take
Yeah,
over
yeah.
your show while
Tell
you
him
do
something
your
fun.
thing. Ah. I just sent it to 5 eggs. I want them to release that to prove Dinky is. Oh God, I'm cooking dinner. Send it to Instagram. Instagram, Robert Carr. I'm gonna do a oney. Well, everybody else is taking a break. I need one too. God damn it!
share screen?
I don't know.
Okay, share screen.
All right, Sadie, but it makes a little noise when I have a little cigarette maker and it makes noise. And I didn't make any before the show because God forbid I should remember these things. I was watching your show. I was doing the video. I was 100 things. I was like, Danny, can you come on and tell a story? And then
She has to allow
I
me to
started the
share.
live stream a minute late, actually.
Christina, you have to allow to 5 eggs to share it.
I
Or
have
me to share it.
I have to put it on stage. That's it. There we go. Yeah.
All right, this is a live stream that Benny was on,
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
and a door opened or closed, or what
Yeah.
happened?
Oh,
Hold on.
I've never seen this, by the way. I've heard about it, never seen it.
but he closed it.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, it's not here anymore.
Photo bomb.
He's looking for the best way to share it. I
Oh, I
think.
know it's in the neck. But
I got it.
okay.
Okay. I think this is it. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Add to stage. There we go.
Okay.
Yay.
Ready?
Okay.
Ready.
I'm posting
Right.
this for your consideration. This was a live stream that I was on with who you can see. Her name is Tams. Tamsy. But here you go. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen.
Did you see the door?
It's still moving.
Yep.
Sorry about the video of video, but
You can't really hear it. It's hard to hear.
Oh yeah, and share the link, Benny, in the
real-time
chat.
reaction.
Wait, it closed again?
Yep.
I can't hear what she's saying.
And then it closes again.
Yep.
And it was quite fun.
Oh my God, that's so freaky.
Yep. Yep. She had to do it this way, Benny, because YouTube dinged her
All the
for it.
windows are shut.
To
she
do like a
says.
reaction video.
It's gone.
It's done.
Oh my
All right,
God,
now
that's
please
freaky.
close
Baby.
the door anymore.
I wished I'd have known that I was muted. But
Even
yes.
Betty, she's over there talking. She's muted on the live stream.
It's so hard to see and hard to hear what she's saying, but yeah, I saw as soon as it started moving, you could see her reaction, and then she jumps up, and then it
Oh,
literally started closing.
yeah.
Yeah, well, we didn't get much. We didn't get anything like that at Eloise, but we did get, what do you call it, Tony? The Estes method, where he's asked a question and
Oh, yeah. So you got some
okay,
EVP.
yeah. So Tony would ask a question,
Yeah.
and Brian would have the thingy on his head, and his earphones or whatever, and he would hear the answers and answer the questions. That was the coolest part
Yeah.
about the whole video. So I don't know if you can find that part, Tony, or not, but that was the best. In my opinion, that was the best part of the whole video. Otherwise, I was just yelling at Tony, doing, turn your fucking camera and look down the hallway. Screaming at him the whole time. It was really funny. Boston Brian was there. Benny Loco was there. Anybody else in the chat there with us during the live Eloise? I think Adam Westish was. But this was a long time ago, so it had to have been like, back in the day when we were just kind of first starting out.
Yeah.
So, okay, where?
I have it. It's there.
Okay,
She has to show it.
you have to show it now.
Okay. It's there? Yes, it's there. Okay. Here we go, guys.
Play.
Look at your bad attitude face. I'm in the back. It must have been winter because I was freezing. I have my skull cap on. So that's Tony with he has 2 light bulb thingies on his forehead and they're turned on red. That's why it looks like an alien with
Yes.
heart eyes. I don't know why the audio is not working. Is it on your end, Christina?
I don't hear it.
Oh, I got it, sir.
Okay, it's on Tony's end. Okay. Yeah, that happens all the time.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is this link that I'm throwing in there, just so you guys know, that is to that Benny Loco video. If you guys want to watch that later, the door opening and closing on a big screen, you could slow it down on YouTube and all that good stuff. Go check that out. That's the link I just put in. Hi, Eddie and Jen. How are you? You're okay.
Okay. So it's still hard to hear, Brian, but so this is Tony. Tony's now walking to another room where down the hall where
I still don't have any audio. You can hear it?
yeah, I can hear it.
Can you guys hear it in the chat? Nope. Okay, they can't hear it in the chat, so it might be going through your speakers, but not through the StreamYard.
Tommy D, what we are watching right now is my husband Tony and my good friend Brian. Brian is the one you can see on the camera right now with the glasses on. And Tony's the one holding a device. They were at Eloise Asylum in Michigan. and they're doing an Estes method question and answer thing.
Yeah, they can't hear my audio.
Yeah,
No
because
sound from it. No sound. Everybody's saying no sound.
yeah.
Weird.
Is it just because the audio's low, or
I can't hear it at all. So I don't think that it's low. I think it's not going through the right the
okay,
audio's not going to the right place.
right?
Maybe you have to share the audio on the StreamYards too. There might be something thing for that.
Uh,
How about she play it on her end?
it can. Oh, she can't play it on her end because she's going through a cell phone.
Well,
Yeah.
All right.
If you stop sharing and when you go to reshare, make sure I think there's a part where you have to share the audio too. Well, it came up on Benny's. I don't know why it didn't come up this time, but it might be because you're not playing it through YouTube. It was an actual video. So.
shares.
Zero sound. Diane's audio still sounds blown out. It does not. No, I put YouTube up. YouTube volume up full. Yeah. I heard Tony, but it's very low. Like, it's so hard to deal with audio when you're sharing files. You know what I mean? Because there's so many that it's just, they're so quiet. And
All right, hold on. I got it.
all right, Tony's like, hold on, I got it.
Okay. That's sweet.
I would just roll it back just a little bit. Because he's just saying, does anybody here want to talk? That thing down. Look down the hallway.
Yes, now we hear it.
Chris? Still think of. Need. Power.
Were you lobotomized?
Stay
Under.
Okay.
By the way, do you see the orbs?
We're
Look to
80.
your left. Anything to the left of you?
November 29th. Out of state. Provide. Energy. From. Fresh. Any.
Too much light coming from your device.
I know.
Electric.
Is there
What
any?
year did you arrive here at Eloise?
Thrilling. Got. $19. Learn more. Wow. Stay.
Ten more seconds.
2 eggs.
2 eggs. Tony's nickname is 5 eggs, by the way.
This
Were
holiday.
you tortured here?
quietly.
I will end it.
I'm trying. It's fucking loud as shit in here.
I've seen like 4 or 5 orbs.
Oh yes,
Oh,
there
yes.
was
There
even
was even
some
some
bright
bright
ones.
ones.
First, you can be exposed. This, I, I'm.
Why are you still here?
Stop talking. That's used. Who loves you? Don't. At Michigan.
Fucking Brian's talking to people.
Flash. Or. A. Voice.
Did someone murder
Wonder.
you?
Nothing about it.
Camera still. Keep the camera still.
Moron.
Moron.
Live.
I guess they were
They were
calling.
calling.
Get over it. No, ma'am. I. Want.
Fuck, I almost dropped my phone.
A father.
Are there others here like you?
Parish.
Whoa.
Brian can't hear me, so
Nah. Want.
I can say it as loud as I fucking want.
Consumption. Further keep. Here for you. Accident.
Peek your head around the corner again, motherfucker. I dare you.
Explain
camera
from
still.
Donald Trump.
I am.
Oh, you're not.
Stop. Holding.
Were you
Real
ever
people all.
human?
Any doubt. Need.
Whoa.
Bring it. And it. Arrived. Effects. Traditional.
Questions.
Them.
George Deere. Last name.
This. Close.
Whoa.
What is your last name?
have a question, Tony.
What?
Are you buried in the graveyard?
All right.
Obscene. Keep them.
Light up, light up.
No.
I know. I'm looking at the questions.
Father was a friend. And like way. Exit
Did someone murder you?
the back.
You already did that one.
Oh, I did. Fuck.
God, Tony sucks at this. Don't fuck it up.
Are you buried in the graveyard?
Quote. 2, 3.
Is Harmonia here?
If I.
Yeah. She can probably hear you.
Criticism. Freedom. Real good.
By the way, the graves are all numbered. Harmonia
Electric.
likes some chocolate.
Pussy.
Here's one. Hold on.
Lie.
You're the worst cameraman and lighting man ever.
What religion do you believe in?
You already did that one.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. It's the
Fuck
second
off.
one you asked.
Oh, fuck. All right, I got 2 more.
Too much.
Tony, you're an embarrassment.
Day.
He doesn't even have any drinks.
Hit.
I can see the chat.
2 words.
All right.
Was it in the beginning we got a name or at the end?
At the end.
Good morning.
What is your favorite movie?
Shit. Too big.
The Fifth Sense. Calvin Klein's obsession between love and hatred lies only in obsession.
UN. Broken.
Should I vacuum the floor or should I decorate the cake?
Waiting.
Here we go.
Let's talk about. No.
Who is your favorite sports team?
Jordan. Rack up.
Stop moving.
Jesus.
Jesus is my favorite sports team. Noise. Enough, Adam. Come on. It's like I actually wonder what Brian's listening to. Is it just all static?
So it's a spirit box.
Harmonia here.
It's Harmonia here. Here we go.
So in between the
Wait,
Static
hold on.
word.
Please.
Mr. Please.
And Michigan. Father wept. Jesus.
Here we go.
Noise.
Easily broken.
Come on.
Enough, Adam. Come on.
Yeah,
Right here.
right here. Is Harmonia here? That's what you say.
Is someone named Harmonia here?
Look at Brian's face. Look at it.
Mr.
Twitch. Mister?
Please. And Michigan. Father wept. Tupac.
Is it over? Can you hear him talking?
Daughter.
Daughter.
Yeah,
I think I went through everything.
guess I am.
Can you hear him talking?
Yes, I
Mark
am.
P said
I need
boxers are
to
free.
go.
I need to go.
Young,
You need to go, young.
etc. Kid. Holding. By the time.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, move.
Yes, move. Got through them all?
So that was that. It was weird a little bit.
Communicating with us. I'm going to stop the scan now.
It was weird right at the end when he said Harmonia.
He can't hear you.
I can hear her.
Yeah, Tony, you can stop the video now. Okay.
Okay. Now the audio should be better. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now Tony needs to turn you down because he turned it way up so he could hear. Yeah. Just turn it to normal level. Thanks. So, as you can see, Tony would ask the question, Brian would get whatever he got. But
Yeah.
right there at the end, Harmonia is a girl who, supposedly was murdered there.
No, she drowned in the bed.
Well, she drowned in the bathtub, but murdered, drowned, I don't know, whatever. Accident, I don't know. But that was who they were communicating with when I think the people, what is it, Ghost Whisperers, or what are their names? The dude, the bro dude with the black hat, what's his name?
The Ghost Adventurers. The
Yeah,
one that
yeah,
always
yeah.
yells out screaming every time
Yeah,
a ghost
yeah.
actually comes. Oh Lord.
But
yeah.
you know who the other guy that went there is the guy from Expedition Unknown.
Oh, okay.
What's his name?
That was a better one.
Jake, or what's his name? A degree in archaeology, and like, what's his name? Jason. Fucking, I forget his name. Whatever. He's on. What is it? History Channel or Discovery Channel? I forget.
Travel Channel or something. I don't normally watch those guys. Because the TV, the Hollywood TV stuff. Look, I used to love the Ghost Hunters. but even
Josh
they-
Gates. Yeah. Josh Gates went there. Thank you, Robert Carr. Josh Gates went there to Eloise, and they had a more serious you know,
They had full rain.
they had full, and they had full reign of the place. They had
Oh
20
yeah.
cameras. You know what I mean? It was more serious than Ghost Adventures, and some crazy shit happened there. So,
Oh,
and
yeah,
I think that's after that is when you guys actually went to go there. And so we had seen both episodes, and Brian took Tony there. And there's also some extra excerpts, that were really funny, but we won't play it
the whole
here.
thing was funny. I love when you said, hold the camera straight, and the spirit said on the spirit box, obviously, moron, and he
Yeah,
repeated it, Brian, and
I
I'm
know.
laughing my ass off here. I'm like, oh
And okay, because he's the worst cameraman ever and lighting guy.
my.
He's looking down instead of look up and have their light down the. Oh my god, it was so annoying. I could have done a better camera job, but I did not want to go, so I had to hold down the fort here and do the live. We had a bunch of live people on at the time. Boston Brian was in that chat that day. Yeah, yeah. He must have thought we were absolutely fucking nuts.
Yes, Tommy.
It was fun though.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I did
getting
a
called out by a ghost is definitely wild. Tony, you were called out by a ghost. You're a fucking moron.
2 eggs.
2 eggs is a moron.
2 eggs. Yes, it was funny because I've had ghosts. I haven't had one call me a moron yet. I've had them ask me out on dates.
Ooh,
I had one ask me to take off my shirt. I've had a few different weird
not
encounters.
gonna do it.
Usually they're nice, but I was with my son. We were doing an investigation in um a, there used to be a insane asylum on the land and a hospital for like vets who came back from the war that weren't good after with so but back then they didn't know what the heck to do with them, so they had them in these places and both of them were knocked down, and then behind it was a behind where they knocked those two down and they made it like a nature preserve. Behind that was an actual still in use, well, half of it was psychiatric center. So we went there to do an investigation on the part where they were knocked down, right? So we did the spirit box and he was like, my son's there, and all of a sudden he's like, can you just take off your shirt on the spirit box? My son was like, oh my god, did he say? I'm like, never mind.
Yeah,
Like, I
I
was
would have
like, oh
said.
my god.
Have you ever heard the when Howard Stern? I for some reason I can't hear myself again. I don't know. All of a
I
sudden
hear
I
you.
can't. Okay, so good. So you at least you can hear me.
Yeah.
So do you remember on Howard Stern when they did the prank phone calls and you know, and it was they called an old lady and she's like, not gonna do it. I would have been like, not gonna do it to the ghost.
Yep.
Not gonna do it. So by the way, this I wanted to tell you about another thing that Brian got involved with. And it's really like super controversial. There's a park that he wanted to investigate. And it was kind of weird, and it's connected to water and like a weirdo canal, and like it's just a weird plot of land. And not only that, like the neighborhood and the streets go in a counterclockwise circle. And so it also brought his attention to that, right? So he did some digging, I guess, just like at the library or whatever. Like I don't know. And
Historical
found
society.
yeah, and found out some information, and then brought it to the tribe that it belongs to. And now there's literally a court case about that park. And I don't I
Wow.
can't I'm not even supposed to, like, I shouldn't even have told you guys that much.
Okay, that's all we need to know.
there's a playground on there now, and I think what they want to do is make it like a real indigenous burial site, because that's what I think it was.
If it's
And
sacred ground, yeah,
that's right.
they're
Yeah,
gonna block it off. Yeah.
yeah. And the weird, it was just like he was some for the circle and the way it was built and everything. And going back in historical records, you can see that it used to be Indian land. Also, my parents' house was on an Indian burial ground, and I'm pretty damn sure that it was on an Indian burial ground. The whole neighborhood was called
Oh,
Indian Mound.
oh,
Indian
yeah.
Mound North, Indian Mound South, Indian Mound East, Indian Mound West, Indian Mound Road, Indian Mound, Indian Mound, Indian Mound. I'm like,
Mm.
and you build all these fucking ritzy houses, and I was just all growing up the whole time. It really fucking bothered me.
Well, I went to a place in Long Island and I just did a spirit box, and that was a little park too. All these parks, nature reserve parks, and it had where you could walk your dogs and whatever, and you could walk down to the water and look across at the lighthouse and whatever. So I did a little spirit box in the back of the place, and I was just asking them, "Hi, if you want to talk to me, how long have you been here, whatever." And the spirit box said, "They unearthed our people."
Ooh.
And I was like, "Oh damn, they're pissy." And after that I had like this really bad sinking feeling. And I
Yeah.
told my ex, the guy I was with at the time, I'm like, "No, we have to leave. When we have to go, we have to go, and now we have to go."
Gotta go.
And he's like, "You pissed the spirits off?" I'm like, "No, I didn't piss them off. They're pissed off. I didn't dig up any bodies." And he's like,
Yeah.
"What?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't dig up any bodies. I didn't even live here, you know." So that's enough of that. We're going. Um, yeah, because
Yeah,
but
that's weird.
I have, and if you guys like that stuff, maybe I'll just play one video for you guys, like, but I'll just show you on my other phone. I could do something like that because I can do
Well,
that.
and
But
while you're thinking about that, I
oh,
want to
maybe
tell you.
I could just send it to Tony. You tell your story.
Okay, so um, Brian also wanted to investigate this local bar, and apparently, a few people have passed there. And also, it's like a fireman and police bar. You know what I mean? Like the firemen, and they come and hang out there, and it's a Irish pub, and everybody loves it. And there's always people there. Like it's never empty. I've never seen no cars in the fucking unless they're closed. You know what I'm saying? Like there's always 10 cars there at least. Even in the morning, during the day, whatever, there's 10 cars there. So, and they've expanded over the years, like they, you know, merged with the building, you know, a building next door or something at some point and whatever. So anyway, so he's like, I've been going there with my spirit box and just sitting at the bar and talking to spirits. And they must think I'm crazy, but they all know him. He's a regular there. So, um, and he wanted to do a deep dive investigation with multiple cameras and have the bar owners allow us to be in there overnight
Ooh,
after the bar closed and do a full investigation. It just never came to fruition. And but when just sitting there at the bar with him one day, he brought out his little spirit box and gave me one side of the headphone. It was like a earplugs or whatever on a wire. And so
mm,
I got one side and he had the other, and we're like leaning into like the listening. And he would just ask questions like, did you hang out? What was your favorite drink? Because all of them were drunks, right? Everybody here this bar has been there for a long time. So,
yep.
what was your favorite drink? It would be like, beer, a pint, this, that, the other thing. It would be all these and it would be a lot of activity. Like you would hear many voices at the same time, and
Oh
they're
yeah.
trying to all answer you at the same time, and then you'd hear one very clearly, and then something kind of garbled, but you could tell they were trying to answer.
Yeah.
And I think that Brian's kind of the same way. I think he's kind of a medium, um, and not only that, he's very sensitive to these things. The whole Indian burial ground thing. I mean,
Oh yeah.
just
Well, that's what I'm
crazy.
saying. Um, I never used to be, but I wanted to help this child cross over. I didn't know I had the superpower that I could touch something and then I would know if there was a spirit attached to it. So I went to this thrift store and literally I picked something up and it was like burning my hand. My hand was all tingling and I put it down. I'm like, what the fuck? You know? And so I ended up taking this doll home. And she started talking to me this and she wanted to cross and I'm like trying to look up these mediums and I'm like, well, who can I find? You must know a medium. And she's like, no, you have to do it. I'm like, I don't know, not a shitting thing. I don't meditate.
Yeah.
I never read the Bible. I don't do none of that. She goes, you don't have to do any of that to cross me over. And this kid taught me how to do this 7-year-old spirit that uh I took home the doll that she was attached to, um, taught me how to cross over spirits. And after that, I really got into it because I'm like, maybe there's more children that I could help,
Aw, no,
And
that's so great, though. That's
um,
awesome.
and I started with just crossing over kids. Like I would go to the thrift store and I'd be like, okay, is there any kiddos who want to come with me? I'll cross you. like, uh, the thrift store guy probably thought I was nuts. And he told me a story about like his mother one time because he asked me what I was doing with the cameras that I was buying and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to do a ghost hunt with my son." And he was like, "Oh, I wish my mother would talk to me." And I looked at him and I was just like, "Do you know your whole shop is haunted? Like, you know, almost everything has an attachment. You must be sensitive." And he just looked at me funny. I'm like, "Your mother's around, you're just not paying attention." And he was like,
Yeah.
"Oh." But then COVID hit and he sold the place like right before COVID. And this other lady bought it and they started fixing it up. And then after COVID, like nobody wanted thrift store stuff. So she was closing it. And I brought home another doll when she was closing the shop, and she gave it to me for free. And I was like, oh, that's so lovely of you. I would have paid a little bit. She's like, no, take it. We're closing. Trying to get rid of this stuff. So she's like, why do you want it? I said, because of course I'm older, like why do I want this stupid doll, right? And I'm like, it has an attachment. She's like, I know there's ghosts in this place all over. She goes, no, take it, go. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I had that thing, so wherever I went, if I touched something, I went to go visit my daughter in Indiana, and the train would stop and I'd get out and have a quick cigarette when they said you could go out and have a quick cigarette because they were going to stop for a few minutes. I brought home a rock. I brought home from Chicago, actually. Yeah, because to go to, I think I passed through Chicago to go to Indiana on the Amtrak, and I picked up a rock. It was just sitting there, and it was like calling my name, and it was the only like reddish rock. And all the other ones were like white, and I'm like, oh, it's like a red rock in the sea. And something was telling me to pick it up, so I bent down, and as soon as I touched it, I'm like, oh shit, that's why I gotta take it with me. And I took it with me. My daughter's like, what the hell? You got a rock and I got something else, a stick from the other stop or whatever. My daughter's like, what's all this? I'm like, souvenirs, because we couldn't go to a shop, right? Meanwhile, I ended up crossing all those, but that it was a black guy died on that subway long, long, long time ago. That was attached to the rock, and yeah, like it was crazy.
It's amazing to me that you pick up these vibes on even just a rock. I mean, like, I don't have that capability. I'm not like
Energy.
that. I
I
do
didn't know I had
feel
that superpower until like that time that doll really zung me, and like my whole hand was tingling. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I put it down and I picked it up, and it was something telling me just to bring it home. And then after that, I realized I had that superpower. So my right hand, I would go and I would start touching things and holding it, and I always brought home everything that was haunted. So
Is that why you have doll heads in your background?
uh, this is they're cutesy. It was very gothic. I made them. They're like Halloween heads, but they were bought from the store. They weren't haunted ones.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh, I
So,
touched something. Touch the
so
button.
do you, well, I always, kind of wonder, about like my genealogy and if the female power in my family, the women in my family were so powerful. Like, I've no idea how my great grandmother got Theodore Roosevelt to give her land in Colorado, the land, the mineral, and the water rights in
Wow.
1908.
Yeah.
And I just go, I'm baffled, and I would love to know how the fuck this happened. And I know
Hmm.
my mom did a lot of genealogy studies on it, and I wonder if she's got a lot of paperwork that I would have to go through to find it. But um, in
Oh, it would be
when
interesting.
I started digging for the Colorado land, it's one of the first things I brought out of all the folders of all the paperwork of all the things. I brought out this folder, and this folder had that fucking paper in it. And that paper made me go fucking nuts because it was almost like a sign, like, you need to know
Yeah.
that this is why. This is why
Yep.
everybody's up in the arms and everybody fucking, bitching and complaining and blah, blah, blah. And why it's been in the family this long.
Yep.
Why? Why did Theodore Roosevelt sign this over my great grandma? I want to fucking know.
Yep.
You know?
Well, I could
That's
try
like,
to ask him one
well,
day
oh my
and
God.
find
Could you pull some cards?
out. No, I could literally try to the next crossover I have. I could literally try to ask one of them i- if they can find his energy when we do the crossover on the other side when the doors open to see if he would come talk to me.
Who's he?
Theodore
Theodore?
Roosevelt.
Why
Yeah.
did you give this to it? What he's not going to say is because she banged me.
They don't care now. He'll probably say it nicer, like we were very close friends, and then I'll know he banged her, but he won't.
Yeah, she went down on me. Of course, I'd fucking give her anything she wants.
Yeah,
Anything you want. Boing.
you'll have to text me her name.
Yeah, we might have to do it privately so I can.
Yeah. Of course,
Yeah.
you text me her name, and I'll ask because I mean sometimes I have little kids who don't want to cross, and they're like, I don't want to go alone. I don't want to go with people I don't know. And so I'm like, okay, stay here. I'm going to get my guides. We're going to try to find who do you want on the other side? Who are you looking for?
Yeah.
And they're like, grandma. Okay. I'm like, can you find this grandma? And they go when the door is open and they find grandma, and grandma comes and is like, thanks for calling me, and takes the kiddo.
The other thing I
So
want to know is,
do that. I'm sure they could find Teddy if he's around.
well, the other thing I want to know is, how come I never hear anything about my great grandma's hubby? And where did he go? I don't. These are very. These are questions that I've never heard anybody say anything about.
And maybe we
Who
should
her
just call
who her
great
husband is.
grandma down to tell us the story. I don't know if she'll tell us what she did with
Grandma,
Ted,
I
but
need some fucking answers, bitch.
she
And by
might
the
tell
way,
us
we have the
the other.
same hair color. If you saw, it was not. There was no photography back then, but and I don't have a picture of her. Well, there was photography in 1908, but it was very
It was
rare.
black and white, wasn't it? Like,
Yeah, and they were on like, metal things and stuff, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, yeah, and there was no color. But somebody painted her portrait. And her hair color is exactly my hair color right now. And that's why I like kind of don't want to dye it either.
yeah.
And I would call it strawberry blonde. Like, I don't know, it's not blonde, it's not red. Somewhere kind of in the middle.
There you go.
Even though you can't tell in this light, but it doesn't matter. Who cares?
But I think it's definitely carried on like witchcraft or mediumship or, you know, from not only your bloodline, but also from your past lives. So my grandmother is a witch. Thank God she didn't really know how to use it and she only used it once to kill her father, but that's another story. And then so to tell you guys that story, basically how I found out my grandmother was a witch. So I I wasn't born yet, or I might have been a few months old. I was tiny. Okay. I was either in the womb or very tiny. And my mother, because she was married and having kids, and because my aunt was married and having kids, my my great grandfather, so my mother's grandfather, decided his wife passed away and he was going to get married so that the girls wouldn't have to take care of him because they're taking care of their babies. So he told my grandmother, his daughter, my mother's mother, and goes to her, somebody's gonna set me up with this lady and I'm gonna get married and she'll cook for me and whatever. And she's like, oh no, you can't marry him. You can't marry her. And he's like, why not? And she goes, no, I could take care of you. Because my grandmother wanted all the houses, all the money, and she figured if he married the lady, she'd be entitled to something and she wouldn't get the house or whatever, right? So my grandmother was flipping out and she was like, oh no. So she even went so far to tell her husband, I'm going to go move in with my father so he doesn't give the house away. And her husband, who couldn't care less what she did, this is her second husband, was like, yeah, good, whatever. As long as we could get the money, I don't care what you do. So, but she was so upset that her father was going to marry this lady that she went. So that's how I know her and her mother were both like witches. She went to the cemetery with my uncle Gus, my great uncle Gus, her brother, my mother's uncle, and she went to the cemetery. She goes to see her mother. She kneels down. She starts crying. She's hysterical and she's shaking like she's holding onto the tombstone and she's shaking. And she's like, please, you have to stop him somehow from marrying this lady. Okay. She was so upset. All of a sudden, my uncle and her, both of them said that the earth beneath them started shaking, and the tombstone that my grandmother was holding on to her mother's tombstone was shaking. And then she knew that her mother heard her and was going to take care of it. 2 days later, her father was dead.
Oof.
Yep. And there was nothing wrong with him. He went to read his paper like normal and thus died in his sleep. He got up, he read his paper. He's like, I'm going to take a nap. My mother went to check on him. Didn't wake up. He was dead.
Oof.
That's how I knew she was a witch. Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank God she didn't know how to use this because she would have been killing people all over the place.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
Well, that would first of all, if I was like, somebody do something, and the ground started shaking underneath me, and I'm crying my ass off, and I'm like, oh my god! And the ground started shaking. I would freak out. Oh my
Yep.
god, that totally reminds me of something. So at the time, ages ago, it was me and my best friend and another friend, and I don't know, it whatever. I was the blonde at the time. One was a brunette and one was a redhead. So it's kind of like the Witches of Eastwick, right?
Uh-huh.
And the brunette at the time was super pissed because her fucking found out her boyfriend was a total alcoholic. She moved in with him and she kept finding vodka bottles all over the house. I mean, in the top of the toilet. She'd flush the toilet and be like, ding, 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 rattling. There's a fucking vodka bottle on the top of the fucking toilet. Like, I'm shitting you not. In the garage, of course, in the freezer, in the top of his closet, all over the fucking house. There's little vodka bottles of vodka, and I mean not little, but I mean like a pint or a fifth or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
vodka everywhere. So she is pissed because she just moved in there. She, thought that they were gonna be. He was the one, and you know what I mean, like, and she was just having a fucking fit on the front porch of this new house that she just moved into. And it was sunny skies. And we're all smoking out on the front porch. Fucking, she's having a fit. And she literally like stomped her foot and like just was like, fuck, like that. And then all of a sudden, gadoosh, thunder, like super loud right over the fucking house, not like far away, right over the fucking house, right? In a fucking downpour. It was the
No.
scariest, most freaked out fucking moment I've ever had in my life, thinking she's a fucking witch and she just fucking just went like this and had a fit. And I just witnessed what I just fucking witnessed. Like, I've never seen anything like it ever. Or since, by the way. And by the way, we're not friends anymore. Oh my God. A whole other story.
Right. Well, and it was funny because I said to the spirit, one of my spirit guides, I said, so am I a witch? And they're like, no. So it seems I'm something else. My aunt and I are something else. So
A
I guess kind
medium.
of skips generations, you know?
You could be a
So,
medium, not a witch. You're a medium.
right. Well, they call me the spirits. So, um, uh, society could call me a spirit medium. They kind of call me a gatekeeper
There you
because I
go.
I can have I can open
The
the
gate.
door to the other side so that the people can cross over.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like a key, so they call me the gatekeeper, you know. But I every time they would like somebody would call me the gatekeeper, I'm like, ugh, that sounds like all I kept thinking of was that guy Tales from the Crypt Keeper. I was like, no, I don't want to be called that, right? So I was like trying to look it up, and I'm like, no, we're gonna just say I'm a spirit medium, so people understand that.
Yeah,
Because a
yeah.
medium and a spirit medium are a little different,
Oh, I
and so
didn't
that's
know.
why some people come into my chat, and spirit mediums basically just deal with the messages from the spirits or talking to the spirits. Um, regular mediums will usually deal in like more like I don't know, like they more. It's like my friend considers himself kind of like a medium, but he more does um maybe it's like psychic or something. I think because what they do, they think they just know that information. I know that I don't know that information. It comes from spirit. So it's like different. Like, so when I do my readings and they're like, want to know something specific, I'm like, I can only tell you this, and I'm not going to lie to you. I don't lie to people. I can only tell you that if your spirit guide wants to tell you that, because I'm translating a message from the other side to you. They're
Right.
telling me, I don't know shit. Okay, I don't know what you ate for breakfast. I don't know what color your underwear are. I don't know any of that shit.
Yeah.
I
Right.
just know what the spirit will tell, what tells me, and then I pass
Sure.
it on.
Right. Right.
You know, I'm not one of those. I'm not psychic, so I can't read your mind. I can't tell you what's in your kitchen. I can't do none of that unless the spirit tells me. If the spirit tells me, hey, if I ask them, okay, what color is Diane's bra today? If someone will tell me, then I could tell you. If nobody's gonna look, then I'm not gonna know. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm sorry, your spirit guide does know what color bra you put on, but um, they won't tell me probably. But if you said to your spirit guide, yeah,
Because there
tell her what
is
color bra
no
I have
answer. There is no answer. If you
on.
understand, there is no answer to that question because there's
And
not one there right now.
there's not one there. That's right. Like my spirit guide will tell you she has an all-in-one. So my dress comes with
There you
padding in
go.
it. So I don't
There
need a
you go.
damn bra because I have it all it's in
There you
the dress.
go.
So I
It's a
didn't put
one
on a bra.
piece.
It's a one piece. It's a dress with a bra in it. But yeah, so but if they wanted to tell me, if somebody wanted to look or whatever, these kind of questions, or you would say, okay, you could tell her, what's in my underwear drawer, then they would tell me. But otherwise, they're not telling me. you know, they don't do those kind of things. I try to tell people that. And they
Right.
also, like a lot of people think they could predict the future, which on some kind of timeline, maybe they could tell you something. If it's like, if the path is already set, which means if you set off this chain of events that is inevitably going to make something happen, they'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I don't mean to
they'll
be a little.
also tell you things are not written. And
Yeah.
so you can change your destiny. So they'll tell you, depending on what you do, will be the outcome, So then they
Yeah.
don't know what's going to happen.
I felt a little psychic on the show today. I got to admit, because a
Ah,
couple shows ago, and I keep saying that it's like when you put jumper cables on the battery and you touch those two things, it's going to make a spark, right?
I can see
And
it.
you're not even really supposed to do that, but
Everyone will.
I keep having this feeling that these two things are going to come together, and MAGA's finally going to get it, right? And that's where I feel like maybe the two
your
things, one
intuition.
was Trump and one was Elon and their whole fucking fight today, and then all of a sudden it sparks all this shit off, and then it also gets into the Epstein thing where
Yeah.
the right and QAnon and whatever and MAGA, they've been dying for all this fucking information for the Epstein files, and I'm like, maybe it's their two brain cells they're gonna rub together and finally figure it out. But
Yeah.
seriously, I like today I felt like the spark has
Yeah.
the two
Well,
sides, the jumper cables have touched, and one is Dinky and one is
I can
Elon.
see
And
your
I didn't
dirty pillows.
really.
Everyone will.
I thought maybe it would be like a news story, almost like the Elon drug story, but it's a bigger spark than that,
We
right?
ain't got no
right.
badges.
That
We don't
that
need no
story,
badges. I don't
Tony,
have to
enough.
show you any stinking badges.
Tony, she can't hear you. Can you hear her? Hear the drops?
I can hear it a little, but because
Annoying,
it's not.
and you're just interrupting me, is what you're doing, Tony. So please don't.
That's right.
Cut it out. So I know I did feel like those two things were going to come together, and it was going to create a big spark, and it was going to create a mess. And look at where we are now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it really felt like it was coming, and now it's here. And then I go, oh well. I don't consider myself psychic, but I kept seeing these two things coming together and bashing. And I knew it wouldn't be good. And I knew it wouldn't be good for Dinky and Dinky alone. You know what I mean? Like And I don't know. I mean, he can blame Elon for everything, but Elon's got receipts. He's got to have. So
Yeah, he does.
I just
But
find
your intuition,
it
like your guide, because
interesting.
I can tell that you have some spiritual stuff going on with you, right? And people can tell that when they get together, energy wise and just different things. Mary will tell you every time she sees somebody, she's like, that person has something. And they might not think so because they're not practicing it, you know? But I got that feeling right off the bat with you. So I had, you know, um, so I said, no, she has something spiritual going on. And so your intuition, because you can use it, your intuition is your superpower, right? So your intuition is trying to help you cope with all this, and it's giving you the information. And that's why you feel psychic, because you're like, you already know all these answers. They're coming to you because you probably were on this timeline before. You know?
I know, but it seems self-evident. You can't have two narcissists in the same room working together and be like, "Oh, buddy, buddy." No, one of them is going to break. You
Yeah,
cannot. It's like having two lead singers in a band. It never works.
yeah.
There's always one lead singer and everybody else has to be a background vocalist. It doesn't work when you've got two people button heads like this. I don't know. I saw it coming and I didn't know what it was. Like I didn't even think it was Elon and Dinky. I just saw the two
You knew there was a shitstorm coming from two people colliding.
and it was going to be very electric and it was going to start a shitstorm. And so that's how I feel about it right now is that I just felt those jumper cables touching and it was going to be a fucking mess. So,
Yep.
hey, good. I'm glad it's a fucking mess. And these guys need some up and comings and I hope they'll get it. And
Well, yeah, that's why I think it's the perfect time to make these learning videos too about all this stuff, so that when they do get like the light bulb goes off and they go, shit, we really got to fix this mess now. Because we put this kind of person into office.
criminal.
Uh, they're gonna have to know how to fix it, and they're gonna have to know what their rights are. Even though they want to get rid of everybody else's rights, they're gonna all of a sudden go, wait the fuck a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Christina, thank you so much for having me on again and letting me tell my ghost stories and
Oh
sharing a
yeah,
little Eloise with
I'm
you guys.
I actually am going to tell Fancy's story in story form for Sunday, and I'm going to put your story in too. So then it would be you two guys, because I didn't have another one. I was just going to pick a
Yeah, a
random
short one.
story from my son or something, because he's had so many. But I thought that would be nicer. So not
Yeah.
only if somebody missed the live stream, they could still hear your story. So it will be yours and Fancy's
All
story
right,
on Sunday.
cool. Yeah, cool. Also, I couldn't remember who it was in my chat who had a ghost story to tell.
Oh, whoever has a ghost story, yeah, you can do my
I can't
Facebook is
remember.
up in my description, or just email um 21st
Email
Century
me and
Tech,
I'll forward it.
and she can forward it. Well, we have to get each other. Do you talk to Benny on like Messenger? You have a Messenger on Facebook?
Honey, I'm either texting her, calling her, or we're online. I mean, she does send
Yeah,
stuff to our Blue
if you,
Sky. Are you on Blue Sky or no?
I made a Blue Sky. I followed somebody, Hal, when he first talked about it, and I can't figure out how the hell to get back on it. So I just have Facebook, Facebook. I don't do
Yeah,
anything on Facebook. I just really use the Messenger for chitty chat. But Benny
yeah,
has
yeah,
me
yeah.
on Messenger, so she could give it to you, or
Yeah.
she can post
We're
it.
also on Instagram, and if we're gonna chat, you know what we do? We just do a Zoom call together.
Oh yeah, we could do a Zoom, StreamYards.
Yeah,
All right, Susie. Yeah,
it's
so guys, if you don't know, I tell these paranormal stories in story form on Sunday. There's so many. Mary in the chat, who's usually my co-host for Thursday, her stories up there. So many of our subscribers gave me stories. I think we're up to the 12th or 13th already episode. So it's like 2 stories in each one. So go check them out if you like real paranormal stories. They're interesting. They're every Sunday. So it's in the Sinister Sunday playlist.
There you go.
There you go.
Thanks again so much for having me on. It was fun.
Thank you so
As
much
usual.
for coming. I appreciate
You're going to join us Thursday on our
next.
show. Are you going to talk politics with us?
Sure, I could talk politics with you. And then we're going to what? Show it. We're going to show the story.
Your AI video, your AI story.
The story I made. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I'm not giving all the credit to the AI because the AI kind of made it a little
Well,
fluky.
you have to put the words in there to make it happen. So
I didn't like the person that they picked for who they wanted to be the ghost president, so I had to pick another one. Yeah, it was a whole big thing. So I basically rewrote it, the whole AI story. And so yeah, so it's really
I have another one. I have another one for you, like a good news one. That if Kamala had won, and how great things would be right now if she had won.
Oh, all right. Well, I will make that story and I will give it to you because I don't know how spooky. I don't know how
think
spooky
about it. I would just think about it for a minute.
Wonderful, it wouldn't be spooky.
It wouldn't be spooky. It would be so great. It'd be a palate cleanser.
I know, and I don't do great story. I gotta do spooky stories.
Okay.
Unless we keep some cryptids in there with her, I don't know. We'll have to see.
All right, then we'll have to do. Well, I'll brainstorm and I'll come up with some ideas.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, honey,
And then
take care. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for telling your paranormal story. Everyone, check out the 21st Century Suffragettes. Kevin, put their link in the chat, please. Can you do that for me? All right, Kevin's gonna put it in the chat. I'm gonna let you go because I know you're tired. You've been doing the show since 5, so gosh.
Yeah, and getting a little hungry there, so it's like need some grub.
Get some grub. All righty.
Thanks, love.
Thank you so much. Take care. Thank you, Tony, for the show. Putting everything up. All righty. So yes, if anybody doesn't know the 21st Century Suffragettes, I think Kevin can put up the link because he's a mod, and Kevin must know that link. Up there was our first guest. Danny came. If you weren't here in the beginning, just you could check out his story and his channel. He told a story about Sasquatch, the 2 times he came across an actual live Sasquatch, which at first he thought was a monkey until you really see him. So that was really cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna grab a cigarette, guys. And it's like 90 degrees in New York today still, and I'm sweating. Hi, Nina. It's up to you if you're ready. If you guys want to hang out a little more, Mary, you want to come up? Mary has some great paranormal stories. Thank you, Diane. Thank you so much for joining me again. And I can't wait till Thursday. We'll be on Diane's show. There's Kevin put Diane's link. So if you guys do not have, whoever doesn't have the 21st Century Suffragettes, they do fun politics. If you weren't here last Saturday, I interviewed them for their channel. We didn't do paranormal stuff. So check that out. Yeah. Thank you so much, Eddie and Jen, for hanging out. Yes. We had them tell their paranormal stories. We saw some paranormal footage. It was great. So yeah. So I'm just gonna grab a cigarette, guys. But talk amongst yourselves, and maybe Mary, you have the link. You can come up and talk about not the story I did on Sunday, but talk about a different story if you want. Oh, I know, Tommy, it's so late for you. It was so good connecting with you again. And because I haven't seen you in forever. Oh my gosh. So come again. We're here. I know we're kind of late for you, but we do have some great videos which you can watch anytime. So yeah. I'm also a troll slayer over there. Yes. Yes, Kevin is. I don't think we get many trolls here. Knock on wood. Everybody's lovely who comes in here. I love all you guys. So lovely. The new people, everybody. I don't know what's going on with my. Okay, so the ghosts are touching things. Look at this. They're putting stream ending, or this is Mary. Mary, did you come up and be touching buttons, or is this the ghost putting the. I didn't even go to the media asset part. What the hell is going on? All right, wait. The ghosts are trying to tell me to get lost. Look at this. They're pressing buttons. I don't even know what the hell happened. They're changing the backgrounds, pressing buttons. I swear to God, I didn't do that. I was trying to get a cigarette. And I just turned around and I see all this stuff going on. So now I'm just gonna leave you so you can see me. I'm really not doing anything. Somebody's pressing all the buttons on the StreamYards. On the StreamYards.
Hello, hello. You hear me?
Hello. I thought it was you, Mary.
What?
But you weren't even in here yet. Every time you're gonna come in this show, I don't know, it's your energy maybe. It throws off, it put a new background, it tried to say the stream was ending. I thought it was a spirit doing it. Then I'm like, maybe Mary's touching it. Because Mary and I share
No,
the same StreamYard, so I don't know if it was a ghost doing it or I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what's causing it, but
I
maybe it
don't
is
know.
my energy. I don't know.
I don't know, but the whole thing changed. Like the background changed. It put up the the stream is ending. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was kind of a little like, yeah, let me get a cigarette because now I'm laughing that they're touching shit.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mary, in case y'all didn't know that already, because there's some new ones in here. I'm the one that was talking in the under my other channel. I switched over to my main channel. Um, how's everybody doing? Hi, Kevin. Hi, Diane. Hi, Lynn. Lynette, or however you want, whichever you want to be called, Lynn, Lynette. Hi, Robert. Hi, Nina. Hi, Eddie. Hi, Jen. I know she's sitting there.
Yes, Tommy.
Hi, Rosanna. Did I say Robert already? Hi, Robert.
Yes, Super Saint. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you guys all for coming over. And thank you for you guys are great supporters, supporting Diane and Benny wherever
Yeah,
they
thank you
go.
guys for doing that.
And now me, I really appreciate it. I was trying to help them get some subs because I was like kind of growing in the last few months. And they helped me grow even more. And I hope to all my subscribers who were here before that you guys have gone and checked them out and showed them some love. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt a while ago. I know you sent me the link to come up, but
Yeah.
I got confused on the time part of it, because I knew you was doing something with them, and then we was going to do this, and I'm like, okay. So I got confused on the timeline. But anyway, I didn't want to interrupt a while ago whenever she was doing the Estes, or he
Oh
was.
yeah. When you came in, she was showing the
Yeah,
video.
yeah, I didn't want to interrupt that. I didn't know if it was live or if it was taped or what. So I just stayed in chat until it was
Oh
my
yeah.
turn. But here we are. Now I'm here.
Here we are.
I
Yeah.
don't know what we're going to talk about, but okay.
Well, today is guest telling paranormal experience. So Danny came up first and told his experience before he had to go take care of mom. Then Diane showed us a whole bunch of great stuff and told us some ghost stories. I told a crazy story about my witchy grandma. So I'm sure you have more paranormal stories than just the one I told Sunday. So maybe you want to tell one. Oh, you muted yourself. Oh, maybe she.
I'm here. Sorry.
Okay,
My
that's all
son
right.
asked me a question. But anyway, yeah, okay. Um, I told one story that she's got on there. I think it was like two Saturdays ago, maybe, or
No, it was last. It was
Sundays,
last.
I mean.
It was last Sunday. Mhm. I'll put the link for you guys because that was an interesting story. So that one I told, but tell a different one.
I thought it was the Sunday before last, but maybe not.
No, I think because you're a member, you see it beforehand. Because I put all my stuff up in members beforehand.
Mm, true.
So I think that's why. Yeah. So if you guys are members, you can literally watch. I have a whole bunch of stuff that didn't come out yet. Um, Also, I wanted to say to the members too, and I'll probably put a little something out on members only, that if any of you guys want to come up on the show to either talk about paranormal or we could play games, or if you have a channel that you want to promote, then you let me know. If you're a member, I'll have you up on the show. We'd love to have you, even to tell a spooky story night or something. So you could pick what you want to do. So yeah. So you just
Um,
get me on Messenger and we could do that. All right, go ahead, Mary.
Eddie, Eddie, the reason why I do that is it's not really personal. It's just I I didn't used to. I used to show myself, but I have changed so much in the last, I don't know, 5 years that um I don't, and my health has deteriorated a lot, and I just don't show myself because, for one, I'm on oxygen. If you hear my machine going, for another thing is that I'm not always dressed appropriately to go online. Um, so this is why. Um, just small things like that. But if you look on my channel and you look to where I first started, I wasn't on oxygen like that all the time, and like I am now, and most of the time anyway. And that's why. But as far as paranormal goes, Lynette, however you want to put that, she asked me if I ever told my story on here, and I said I've told my story many times. She asked me when I started, how young I was. She said, "Was you a child?" And I told her I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
I was 5 years old when it started, and I didn't tell anybody. I lived with it all the way growing up until I was grown before I ever told anybody. Because back when I'm 61 years old, so back when it first started and stuff, you didn't talk about things like that because you get locked up. They put you away in the and you wouldn't get out. I mean, that's just the way it is. And it's just, I feel like that, I just didn't want to tell anybody for that reason. And it was kind of hard because I didn't, I had to learn everything on my own. And it was, I even questioned myself at one point if I was crazy or not. But that was many years ago when I questioned myself. I've come to realize, that it's not. And I finally told somebody. I was 40. I was 43 before I ever told anybody how I was. And I'm glad I did. And then I got on, and my cousin sent me a thing from YouTube about, this paranormal group. And I started watching that. Well, it just one thing led to another. And then I found everybody that's like me. And I'm like, holy crap, I finally found somebody who knows what I'm talking about, who's like I am, and I can relate to them. So that's how it all started, and that's how I've got my channel and stuff.
Yeah.
Boomer D actually was part of me starting my channel. He pushed me into it. Him and Lou Rock, they both did. So that's where I started. But yeah, I do have a paranormal story on there. I was uh 16, I believe, at the time it happened. But you'll have to
Yeah.
watch the video. I'm not going to tell you about it. You have to watch the video. So she gets
I
the
put
views
I
for it.
I put the video link up there. So I put Mary's paranormal story. So the link is up there um for
Hi,
you
Kelly.
guys. And thank you. Yes, Kelly. 44 thumbs up. Were you number 44? That might be your lucky number. You're gonna have to go see what angel number that is. Um so yeah, so tell a different one. I know you have more than just that story.
um, yeah, let me think. Let's see.
Oh, tell the one where you
Thank you, Eddie. I was reading
tell
what Eddie put. Sorry.
that's okay.
Um,
Yes, I'll invite you one day, Kevin. You know what? Tell the story when you were driving with the you know which one I'm talking about.
yeah, I was driving. Oh, yeah, where I didn't realize where I was at. That one,
Mm, with you and your
or
cousin when you
my
yeah.
cousin and me. Oh, okay. Uh, yeah, we'd go over to Illinois. I live in Indiana, and we drive over to Illinois to a friend of ours' house where we played music at. Well, I didn't, but my husband did. And they, get together over and jam out and stuff. But anyway, we went over there and to do that. And we was driving home one night, and every time we drive home at night, I always look around and stuff, to see what I could see and all that. You know how people are. You do that. Well, we're driving along, and the next thing you know, we see this guy on the side of the road, and he's just walking along. And I look back, and he's not there, and I'm thinking, okay. So my cousin said, "Did you see that?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "He's not there." I said, "I know, he's not there anymore." So we drive a little further down, and as long as I'm going, I'm thumping. I'm hitting all these. I don't know what they were, some varmints running across the road. But I mean, I'm thumping them left and right. But uh, I don't know which ones it was. I don't know if it was. I think it was possums. But anyway, I didn't mean to hit them. They were just coming out of everywhere. So we go down a little bit further. We see this guy again, and I'm like, okay, this can't. This guy can't be two places at once because we're driving. And we just kept going, and we get so further down the road, and we see him again. it's like he was following us or wanted us to see him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I told her, I said, maybe we need to stop or something. And she said, no. She said, I don't think we need to stop. She said, because we're in the middle of nowhere. This is a road that is like, it's pitch black and we're in the middle of nowhere. And so we go on down, and stuff. And then there's a cemetery that sits over on the left side. We're on the left side going home. It would be the left side. I always see spirits in the cemetery when I go past it. I always get this eerie feeling. I don't know why, because usually cemeteries are very, very calming for me. But this one has a mixed feeling. Like, and it has no trees or nothing in it. It's all flat.
Yeah.
It has headstones in it. You can see them, but and it's not no hills or nothing. It's relatively small cemetery. But one evening, I went over there. I went with a couple of friends of mine. I don't think my husband, he wasn't with me at that time, but we stopped there and we got out and stuff and looked around and I could see the spirits and stuff, but they didn't really interact. They didn't talk to me too much or anything like that. I tried to get them to, but they just didn't. And shadow person. And my son just said shadow person, the one that kept popping in and out on the road. And very well can't, I say it was a spirit doing it, but I don't know. And then, it's not so much paranormal that it's just so much I seen that night. It wasn't like it was a big paranormal experience. I guess it could be, for somebody who
Well, I was
didn't
thinking
see
about
all
the
the
one.
time.
Yeah, I was thinking about the one where you jumped the timeline.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I said the first time. Oh yeah, I did
Oh,
the timeline.
mm-hmm.
We was driving along one night and same cousin. I can tell you right now, she's like me, only not. I don't know. She's not as far along as I am in abilities. I'll put you like that.
Right.
But anyway, she could see spirits, but she didn't really talk to them or interact. She couldn't hear them. But she definitely can see them. Anyway, we're driving along, we're in the middle of nowhere, and we get a little bit further along, and we're driving, and we get to a certain spot. We was at a stop sign, I believe, and a stopping spot. I don't remember if there's a light there or not, but for some reason we looked at each other and we're like, "How did we get here?" I mean, it was a total different spot from where we was at. It was a different area, different road, and we couldn't figure out how we got from one spot to the other spot. We
Right.
neither one of us remembered any of it, none whatsoever, or that turning or switching roads or anything. I mean, it was in the same state, but definitely different road. And I'm like, I don't remember turning this way or coming this way. I said, I don't know how we got here. She said, me either. I mean, we was just sitting there talking, but I guess we wasn't paying attention or whatever, but we knew what road we was on, and it definitely wasn't that road. And so, other thing we could figure is that we had to pass through a time warp, time zone level, something. People are known to do this. Like you could be walking down a sidewalk, and next thing you know, you're in a totally different area. You know, or have been known to uh, go to different uh, points of time, like 1600s to 1800s to 1900s, but only 1950 to 1960, or stuff like that. People's been known to do that.
Oh yeah. Well, Danny had one of those stories too, where he and his brother, or yeah, I think his brother Mark. I think it was him and Mark. But they they went into town to the store to get milk for coffee. So they went into town, they walked, they were talking. They grabbed the milk. They're on their way back. And when they get to the house, Danny goes, "Does the house look different to you?" And the brother's like, "I don't know." Like, and so Danny turns around and he goes, "Oh shit, the moon is in the wrong place. Do you notice this?" And the brother turns around and goes, "Why is the moon on that side? The moon's supposed to be on the other side, from where it comes up." So Danny was like, I don't know." So they go into the house, and the house is like not decorated the same or anything. And so his brother's like, "What are we gonna do?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know. Let's have some coffee." Like, "Well, I don't know what we're gonna do. We're gonna have some coffee." So they have some coffee, and then he's like, "Maybe if we walk back exactly the way we came, we'll end up back where we're supposed to be." Um, so him and his brother walked back to town to the spot where they came from, and then he's like, "Okay, let's walk just a little further, like half a block, and then walk back again and see if." So, and then they started walking back again, and when they looked up, then the moon was in the right place and everything. He's like, "I don't know what the fuck happened." Like, it was really like he was like, "I don't know." Um, yeah, that was crazy. Well, I'm glad you had a good dinner, Benny. So yeah,
It's happened more than once. One time we was just driving around, and it's like we couldn't get out of this area. Like, we drive around and we end up right back in the same spot we started at. And I'm like, "How are we doing this?" I said, "How do we get out of this?" She said, "I don't know what's going on." We went to visit a friend of ours, and we kept trying to leave. And it just is like something wasn't letting us leave the area. So I mean,
yeah,
this went on for a while, and I'm like, "Look, this has got to stop." So I mean, we made 3 trips around, and we ended up back in the same area at the same time. I'm like, "Yeah, this ain't normal."
yeah.
So we tried to figure out, how to make it stop and all that. I can't remember exactly what we did, but I do know that finally it just let us go, I guess,
Yeah,
whatever it was holding us there. But I mean, it could have been holding us there for a reason, like to keep us off a certain road, or whatever.
yeah.
Who knows? But that was crazy. Has that happened to anybody else like that, where you just like you try to leave but you can't leave, and you keep going in circles, and you
Well,
know how to get out of this area because you've been there a million times? I mean, that's crazy. I that happened back in,
wow, that's crazy, Robert.
it's like in 2010 or something like that.
Well, Robert says, "I was fearless as a kid until I ran into a shadow figure when I was 12 years old. I lost 28 minutes and have never been able to work out what had happened."
I know, right? It's like you don't. I don't know. You remember you remember what you did, but you don't know how you got there, or where you went, or or whatever. I mean, it's like you miss time. And that's
Yeah,
another thing when we was driving, and we ended up at a different road and everything. The time wasn't the time on the clock in the car was off. It wasn't. It was like we lost like 2 hours, and we couldn't figure out how that happened. I mean, to this day we haven't figured it out.
yeah. Oh, see, and Jackie had one too. She said, I had a white light come over our car, and the car wouldn't start until the white light went away.
Oh wow, Jackie. And well, I know we was driving along one night. My son's telling me something. Yeah, he wrote it down. He's going along with what we're talking about. A
Hmm.
double something experience, split
Oh,
experience, experiment. Oh, he says it could be somebody's experimenting on us or something. I don't
but
know.
you never know. People still believe we're in the Matrix.
Right? I don't know. But I kind of thought before that talking about other life forms and stuff, which we believe in that.
Oh yeah,
We believe that there is other life out there besides just our world. But you remember watching anybody who watched Men in Black, and they
yes,
have it at the end where that entire world is inside of a locker.
yes.
I've thought about that, and I really, really have thought about: are we in a locker somewhere, and they're experimenting with us, or that we are, you know, only in a locker because we're one world in a mix of 100, or whatever, how many. Um, has anybody thought about that? Really, because if you
Universe
stop and think
inside a
about it,
universe with inside a universe with inside a universe. Like
no,
when you
just
place a mirror somewhere and it's one door, but it looks like there's a million doors, but there's only one door.
well, I don't know. I kind of feel like that is like there's one person controlling all these worlds, and with that, which would be the universe. I feel like the universe is, and I feel that God is basically the universe.
No.
But he represents the universe. I'll put it like that. Anyway, that we're just one world here, and then there's another world over here. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that and he comes and does what he wants to in each world. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I just feel like that.
Well, I did some kind of spiritual learning about that, about these it's kind of like I can't even explain it. It was so technical that it's escaping me at 9:33 at night. But I did
Yeah,
have a video on it, and it was like timelines, past lives, and like um uh, alternative realities or whatever. And I was saying the difference between them and what people feel about it. Yeah, that was an interesting video. That's in the spiritual learning playlist. We have a few of those crazy. We do about dreams. We did about dreams, Mary and I, about the Arcadian or yeah, is it called Arcadian Record Room? We did all sorts of spiritual learning.
yeah,
So interesting, like really.
it
Um,
is. Yeah, and
you have Tommy. I seen what I swear to God was only one time, and it was on Independence Day, and I was looking up in the sky, and I was at a barbecue, and I turned around to them. I go, "Do you see this?" And the guy's like, "Maybe it's a drone." I go, "Maybe." And he's looking at it. He's like, "No, drones don't move like that. What the hell is it doing?" And we're looking at it, and and I'm filming it. That's on my channel too. It was so far away, it was hard to film, but I tried to zoom in on it. So you see it, and then all of a sudden it literally goes so fast it disappears. And I'm like, no, that's not a drone. Drones don't disappear. Like it was so freaking weird. And everybody was like, yeah. Then everybody was like, I'm like, now what do you think? He's like, oh no, that shit's a UFO. And then everybody's like, that's a UFO because you can't explain the way it moved, what it did. Uh, it didn't even
no,
pick up the lighting the right way, the camera. But that was the only one time. Um, it was just like, and it was such a great time to do it too. These aliens are smart.
You can write it down. Let me see if it's.
Because all these fireworks are going, right, Mary? So
Yeah.
you you wouldn't really be able to tell what it was. Like people weren't looking. They're thinking it's drones or fireworks. You're not paying attention. I go, no, that was brilliant. Like warp speed. Yes.
Super Saiyan on here's got a thing on here. It
Uh,
says a neighbor who's indigenous called.
yeah.
Hang on a minute. I just moved. Called to tell me that was a massive craft outside covering the sky. And she said, and making a sound. She said it was making a sound, and he was freaked out. And I come outside and I said, no, no, flying away.
No
Uh,
freaking way. And
no freaking. Oh yeah, no freaking way. Yeah. Hold on,
slow
they're flying.
moving and not making a
She said
sound.
it was. She said it was massive.
Yeah. Oh, it's it's still going. He
Yeah,
told me it was
yeah,
the
it's massive.
entire
And it's
size
slowly
of
moving
our
and not.
mobile home and RV park.
Yeah.
Ah, she
Wow.
said no. He told her the story. She wasn't going the hell outside. I don't blame you. Oh hell no. Oh, no, I'd be the first one outside trying to video it. I would.
I mean, I've
I do.
seen
I
things,
would ask
but
the spirits first. Look, can I go outside and video this? And depending on what they said. If they said yeah, go ahead, then I'd be out.
exactly.
I'd be out there filming it. Um, yeah.
Seconds. 10 seconds.
But I'll tell you guys an experience my son had. My son
I do that.
recently.
My son's trying to tell me something about this too.
Okay. My son recently, he went with his father, and then Mary will tell her son's story. Um, he went with his father to, was it Tennessee? I'm more than sure it was Tennessee. His father had a moving job, and he asked him to come with him so he could help move the stuff. It was heavy. So my son goes, okay. So my son goes down with him to Tennessee, and they had to stay overnight. So they stayed in this hotel. Um, so and he's gone with his father in all different places. Never had a problem in a hotel. They go to this hotel, and the room had two beds in it. So my son had one twin bed, his father had the other. So my son's sleeping, and all of a sudden he feels like something grabbed him, like a hand came up, was under him somehow, came up and touched him. So he's like, wakes up and he's like, what the hell is going on? And all of a sudden he feels all these hands on him, like that are like under the bed, like would be coming up out of the mattress and trying to pull him into the mattress. He couldn't move, he couldn't scream, he was flipping out, and all of a sudden, it stopped. And he was like, nope. And he said he looked at the clock when he could finally move again, and the on the clock it was blinking 3 a.m. And I was like, okay. Mm-mm. I would not even look out the window. I was so scared. We live 20 minutes from the largest U.S. military base in the world. Oh, yeah. So you don't know if it's them doing something. And to tell you the truth, they're probably more dangerous than the aliens are. Really. Another time I saw multiple UFOs changing colors in the sky. And then one started, oh, changing colors in the sky really fast before landing on the ground. Another was flying low over the area, and the other one landed. I'm surprised they have that much stuff going on in Greece. Although that'd be the first place I want to go to look at the ruins. So I guess if I was coming to visit from another planet, I probably would. I probably would go to Greece. But the military base owns land close nearby where I live around local man-made lake. Oh, for their exercises. Yeah. Was not a plane or a helicopter. No, you could tell. The witching hour. Yeah, Robert Carr. It's they say 3 a.m. is like when the veil is the thinnest and spirits can travel more freely. I don't know, because they're all over the place here. However, they're not crossed yet. So the ones that aren't crossed are always here. Once you cross over and you want to come back and forth or whatever, the easiest time, I guess, would be 3 a.m. when the veil is thin. But so, yeah, that was in Australia, Tommy. Oh, that's nuts. Jackie had a story. Wait, did I miss it? Um, she had 3 dots on her arm. Wait, I must have missed Jackie's story. Oh no, about the car, right? Okay, okay. I was like, I hope I didn't miss anybody's story. Mary, you're there. Oh, maybe she's still talking to her son.
My son needs to come on with us sometime or another. He's got a theory about all this.
Oh,
Not all of it, but he's got a theory about missing time, like in ending up in a different place and stuff like that. It's not,
oh yeah.
anyway, he's got some stuff that he could throw out there.
Okay, that sounds fun. I thought he had did he ever have a time experience himself?
He's had some, but he's not really into it. He's not into it at all, really. Um, I do know that he's seen his grandmother when he was like
No, I didn't mean
3.
paranormal. I meant, did he have like a time slip or something that he's so interested and has theories
Have you
about?
got a missing time or something? No, no, he
No.
just has a theory about it,
Oh,
about
because
things. What's
yeah,
the
because it's
theory about,
interesting.
Patrick?
You've seen a person walking down the side of the road.
Right.
Okay? The difference between you seeing it with your own eyes and you actually seeing it through your rear view mirror or your side view mirror. I'm saying that because you looked at it from your side view mirror, that's when it disappeared. And you kept seeing it with your own eyes, but once you look through the mirror, it would be gone.
Right.
Is that exactly right?
Right.
That's what I think the double split experiment. It's scientific though, but
He said it's double split experiment. If you guys know anything about that.
It's not that you just experienced the experiment itself. You wasn't doing an experiment. The double split experiment is in a controlled environment, right? Whereas that is just random chance.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you wasn't like attempting to, but
It could be that, or he just disappeared because he was spirit form.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up. What he's talking about and do a video on it. It sounds
Yeah,
interesting.
me too.
I don't want to mess with our military. I saw the military helicopters go overhead all the time. But for my friend, being afraid is what freaked me out the most because he was outside but afraid and hiding. Yeah. Oh, okay, Robert. No problem. I've had several. Wayne. Hi, Wayne.
Hi, Wayne.
I've had several paranormal experiences. One I'll call almost abducted, several visions, and a Sasquatch encounter. Oh, I'd love to hear your Sasquatch encounter.
Really? We should start having people up. And I know you tell your story on Sundays, but like
Yeah,
for the ones that's like in major detail or like having more than one, like Sasquatch and other stuff. Or, we
yeah.
can have them up and we can have like they can tell stories and stuff. You know, I
Yep.
think it would be good
Oh yeah, well that's what I
to
was
do that.
saying. Especially, I want to have the members of the channel, so I think we can.
I believe that.
Oh, we can
We
definitely have
can.
the members up to tell their stories, or I know like Fancy said she'll come up and do cards with us one day, so we'll do some cards. Um, here's my
Yeah,
Facebook.
I mean, I think it would be good to do that. You know, some.
Yeah. Okay, so this is.
He
Let's
said
see
he
if.
thought it was a demon devil himself. Now I know what it was.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh yeah, because yeah, of course. You don't, when you see something like that, you don't know what it is, but then all of a sudden, after you hear other people, yeah, then you're like, you know what? That's what I saw. That's the only way you learn. I came across what was it called? I don't even remember.
Oh, good.
Well, I came across a few things. I came across a being. I still don't know what it is. Um, and then I came across another thing, but not. It was already in spirit form. So this was something that was a cryptid, but this cryptid had passed away and came to talk to me in spirit form. Which, when something walks through your door in spirit form that looks like the devil himself, you're like, what the hell is what I do? Um, and then you're like, well, what are you? You have nice horns, because now I'm like half hysterical, right? And like, but I'm not letting it show. I complimented his horns, right? And then he told me what he was, which was not the devil, obviously. Um, so and then I was like, oh, you're like a being, and he's like, yeah, like, okay, you're a cryptid being. Who passed away. And I was like, oh my God, so you really do exist in regular form too, because obviously you were alive if you died and now you're in spirit form. I mean, And then he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. So yeah. What does your spirit guide have to say about cryptids like Bigfoot? Well, I have I I know from myself because they do crossovers with me. We've crossed over 3 Bigfoot, um, other beings that are now extinct, but they did live like underground in dirt. Um, we've crossed over something that looked like Slender Man. I just know he was humongously tall that he didn't even fit in the house. Uh, I don't know. You know, I only if they want to tell me what they are. But anyway, like so there's a whole bunch of different beings that either existed, still exist, or are extinct that will come to cross over. So, Bigfoot are, yeah. I've even before I really started doing this, um, I used to ask them like questions when I was doing Spirit Box, and you don't know how many of them said to me, "Oh, Bigfoot," and I'm like, is there a Bigfoot here? Are you a Bigfoot? Like what? I don't know. Like, that was before I've been practicing that. When you first start, you're not as in tune to the spirits, right? You need all these devices. Now I don't need the devices because they just talk. But I love
Wayne
those.
lives. Wayne lives in Bigfoot R Us country.
The Jersey Devil. I haven't ever heard or seen Spirit World Jersey Devil. I've seen um something that was like a wolf man that I guess you could be like a werewolf, but not really because I don't know how he explained it to me a little differently, but he was a wolf man. Um, and so it wasn't like
They
werewolves,
say on TV and
where they,
stuff.
they have to change when it's a full moon or something. This being was human and could change to wolf whenever he wanted, which was craziness. Um, you sent me a video. Did you share it in the chat?
In other words, the moon doesn't have affect them like that.
No, this one. Now, he said he wasn't a werewolf, but he was a wolf man. So he was a different species of werewolf. I don't know. So I don't know if werewolves are real, but I know a wolf man because I talked to him. He was in spirit form.
Right.
But yeah. So there's all sorts of beings out there. And they don't bother us, so we don't bother them. If we come across them by accident, they're really trying to run from us. They're not trying to interact with us. No way. Because we're probably more dangerous to them than. Oh,
I mean,
baby, yeah.
I didn't know there was
The one where you
two
were
different kinds.
driving? What happened?
I didn't know there was two different kinds, like wolfman and werewolf.
Well, because I asked him, "Are you a werewolf?" He's like, "No, that's different. I'm not. I don't do this moon thing or whatever." So I don't know if he was trying to tell me werewolves don't exist, just us kind of people, or that he's just different from a werewolf. I don't know. Because I just was trying to figure out what he was, that because he was standing next to me talking to me. But anyway.
Well, I wonder how he knew you could cross him over.
Because I've crossed over Bigfoot. Once I went and I crossed, I think I crossed over 2 or 3 Bigfoot. They were big, Once I think I crossed over them, then they'll send their friends, and their friends are not human normally.
Hi, Tony.
That's the only way I could describe. The only way I could say, But they'll send you spirit guides, different people's spirit guides, cemetery guys. Hey Tony, they'll send me people. So it's word of mouth basically now. It's like I'm like, oh, where'd you come from? They're like, oh, the guy at the cemetery sent me. I'm like, oh, okay. Or like, where'd you come from? And they're like, oh, Mary Spirit Guide brought me. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's how they know I crossed them over, because your guides or somebody
Right.
who I came across who knows that I cross people, like the guardian in the cemetery from when I was there
I'm
a
sure
few
you
times.
get a few from mine because I'm like a magnet. I swear.
Yeah. So, I mean, Benny, remember that? Can I tell the story, Benny? I'm gonna tell the story. It's nothing, crazy. But one time, Benny and I were talking about
Cemetery.
something. We were just talking, and the next day, she was watching me on live stream. And while I know she's always watching me on live stream, right? While I'm doing the live stream, my phone rings, my messenger rings, and it's Benny. But I don't pick it up because I'm on live stream, right? So then after the live stream, I text her and I'm like, I'm on live stream. I was on live stream. I'm sorry, that I couldn't pick up. And she's like, I didn't call you. And I was like, oh, okay. 3 o'clock in the morning, I think it was like 2:38 or 2:58. My messenger rings, and I kind of like am half groggy, and I look at the screen, and it's Benny calling me. And And I'm like, why is she calling me at this time? I go, oh, she's in California. She probably doesn't realize it's probably like 11 where she is or something. I said, no, I can't answer it now. I'm asleep, right? So the next morning, I text her. I'm like, you called me. I'm so sorry, but it was in the middle of the night. I was asleep. I don't know. I wouldn't have been any good to you. Do you need help? She's like, I didn't call you. Like, and I was like, what do you mean? Like, you didn't call me? I'm like, well, then something's going on because somebody's calling me from your number, like from your messenger. So, I said to her, like, let's have a conversation so I can see what's going on in your house. And she had a spirit that she brought home from the hospital because she was going to see her husband in the hospital. And, well, that spirit, her spirit guide was trying to get me a message that she needed some help to get rid of this stupid thing that came from the hospital. And that's her spirit guide was calling. Hello. So they know your spirit guides know, they know who they can call to ask for some help.
That's funny.
Oh yeah. Because Benny was like, I swear to God, I did not call you. And I'm like, somebody's calling me from there. Like, um,
I don't have them call me, but they do wake me up. Like they'll say my name in my ear real loud, or they'll say wake up, or they'll touch me, and I feel them, and it wakes me up.
yeah.
And let me know they're here.
So yeah, that was crazy, right, Benny? You remember that? It was so weird. Yeah. Like Benny was like, I never called you once. Like it was crazy. And then I'm like, okay, well, somebody's calling me from there. And it was her guide. They pressed those buttons, but I wouldn't have been able at that time in the morning to, of course, be able to figure out, so when I called Benny the next morning and I was like, look, what's going on in your house? Um, that's when we figured out she bought something. It wasn't good. The spirit guide wanted it gone, so we had to give the spirit guide some help. So this video is, in case Benny didn't share it, I'm sure she did, but this video is Benny's video, her triangle. I can't share because I'm on a phone. I do not own. My laptop is so old it doesn't work for StreamYards anymore, so I can't do live streams on it. So I can't share anything. I could just other people can share them. I'm gonna see if I can find my video too. It must be in the playlist somewhere. You know what I'll do? I could
Well,
go to
if I
YouTube.
know she was going to do that, I'd have got on my laptop. We could have showed it on there. But
Oh yeah, next time. Thank you to all the new subscribers, by the way. If you're here and you just subscribed to me, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. We're gonna have a big party. I'm actually, let's see, I'm actually 3 subscribers away from 1,800. When I get to 2,000 subscribers, we're gonna have a big ass party.
wow,
Um,
you're doing good.
yeah. So let's see. I think I could search my studio for what did I call it? I'm sure I called alien. No, maybe I called it UFO. UFO. Yes. Okay. Share video. Copy link. Okay. So I'll put mine in the chat too. So that one's Benny's, and this is what I caught that one on the 4th of July that day that I videoed. That's my alien UFO, whatever I saw, I don't know, video. I don't know what it was. It was a UFO because it was an unidentified flying thing. So Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Well, we
I
can show it
try to
sometime if you want
videotape
to. Just let me
whatever
know.
I
I'll
can.
get on my laptop. I need to start doing that instead of getting on my phone and coming on here because in case we need to use, do something like that. My laptop's sitting right here by me, so
Oh my God, Kevin.
Benny gonna whoop that booty.
Tony, weird. The phone jumped off. Then now my chat in black screen. Wow, that is crazy. But YouTube does some funny things. Like sometimes all of a sudden I'll the chat will just disappear and I have to go all the way out and go back in to see the stupid chat. I'm like, what is going on? You know?
I remember that one night it did. You couldn't see none of it. It disappeared. All of it disappeared.
Oh yeah, all of it
All
disappeared.
you could do was see me, but you couldn't see the chat or nothing.
Oh, and then the time I was on live stream and everybody was chatting, but I was live streaming outside, walking around, and I literally the chat stopped and it wouldn't move.
Oh yeah, I've had
And
that too.
for an hour and a half, the chat didn't move, and I was just talking to them, and I couldn't see what anybody was saying, if anybody was in the chat or anything. I was like, oh my gosh.
I had that happen. I even tried refreshing and everything. It didn't work.
But
Night, Robert.
Robert, I know you were getting ready for bed. Have a great one. Thank you so much for hanging out with me.
Thanks for being here.
3 a.m. where you are. Well, then hurry up before the ghosties come out. Robert. Janelle, there you are. Have a good night. Fancy must have fell asleep on us. I know she was here in the beginning, but now I don't see her. She might have thought we were getting off when Diane got off.
Oh, she may have.
Well, because the spirit did press the button that the stream was ending right before you got on, so it might have screwed people up. They might have, because sometimes even I
Whenever
turn
I
down
said
the
something,
sound when
did it
I get a
change
phone
when it
call.
did it pop back out whenever I said I was going to come up?
I guess you were on your way up, right? And all of a sudden I said, okay, good. Mary, you come up. And all of a sudden it changed the background, which is still this background now. I guess they like it. They put this ghosty background on, and then and I was in the comment section reading the comments, so I wasn't in media assets. And it went to this back screen of ghosties, and then it went to
And you
the
was going to talk about them. The spirit. See, they're all up or flying around. Yep.
and then they pressed the picture that came across that said stream is ending. And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Well, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. You'll have to go back and see it. It's funny. All of a sudden I'm like, I'm going to get a cigarette, and I go to make a cigarette and I turn around and the screen's going nuts. I'm like, what's going on?
Could be my energy, I guess. It could have been doing it.
I guess, but you weren't here yet. You didn't come for another at least 30 seconds to a minute or something, so it's so weird.
Hmm.
Oh, yes, by the way, everybody, on Friday nights, it's story time. So it's campfire stories. So I pick up this great story, and then I start typing in chat GPT or whatever it is. I'm like, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that, blah 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 blah. And I write it all what I'm thinking, and it gives me a story, and then I change it around a little because it's always a little confusing their story. I'll change it around a little, and I'll make it more exciting, or I'll base it off like um, 2 weeks from now. We'll hear one where like I make my son the victim. Anyway, but yeah, so because I could get pictures of my son easy, right? So that one's funny. Good night, Super Saint. Much love to you. Thank you for hanging out.
Good
We'll
night,
see you.
Super Saint. Thanks for telling us the
Well,
story.
yes. Um. So, tomorrow night is Kevin sent me on Messenger a plot. He sent me a plot. He's like, "This is the plot. That's what I got." And I took that plot and I decided, what else can I do with this? And I had to add some different things in, and so it's really fun, super exciting. So that spooky campfire story, courtesy of Midas Kevin Anderson, will be on tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my channel. So definitely check it out. And I'm sure Kevin will share it to you guys if you don't check it out. And then next week, we're going to have our spooky political story that you guys will see first on Diane's, and then we'll go up on my channel the next day. So if you missed any of it or you want to rewatch it because it's so cool, it will be up there the next day, next Friday. So there you go.
Political stories. Is that what you said?
Yeah, because the girls were on, they prompted me to do a political like horror story for the Friday night.
Oh.
So I made one of those stories up, but around around um around the president. So a spooky like presidential story. Ah, you'll see. It's very funny. Thank you so much, Super Saint.
All right.
There you go, Jackie. Well, that's all you have to do, Jackie. If they're really annoying you, tell them, get the hell out. I'm sleeping. I actually have a sign on my door. Like my sister kind of thinks I'm a little nuts, but it happens. That the spirits will be talking to you like there's someone talking in my ear right now. I'm not ignoring you, sweetheart. It's the fact that I'm busy. But if you're looking across, we'll do that. I'll talk to you after. But anyway, so on my door I have a sign. Maybe I could get it down for you guys. But anyway, the sign says I do spirit work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Unless I'm doing it a little after, like when I'm doing these live streams, then I go a little longer and then I'll talk to them after. But don't you be bothering me when I'm sleeping because we're gonna have a problem. Yeah. Time on Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the time that the stories go up on my channel. So you'll see it tomorrow. Yeah, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be Kevin's story. Yep. I tell my friend Diane that all the time. I'm like, Diane, just tell them to stay out. And she does. She yells at them all the time. But sometimes they're coming to you because they need help too, right? So I tell her, why don't you ask them first, like, or put a sign, don't bother me until this time. And then if you want to ask me a question, fine, Like, that's what I have on my door. I'm like, don't bother me, like, because people would literally be, like Mary said, talking in my ear in the middle of the night. No, I don't want you calling my name. One of them actually woke me up in my sister's voice. that I thought my sister was standing in my house. I'm like, what the fuck are you? I wake up, all I hear is, hey, Chris, exactly in my sister's voice, the way she says it, how she would greet me, and I'm sleeping. And I wake up and I'm like, what are you doing in my house? And then I'm like, oh, there's nobody fucking here. What the fuck is going on? I'm like, I guess
Well,
it's
I
time to
think
get up. 'Cause when you're woken up like that, you're like, fuck, let me just get up.
Jacoby, my spirit guide, he's running interference for me now
Hmm.
because I mean they were waking me up too much. I mean, and that
Oh
was why I
yeah,
couldn't sleep at night, you know. And there's times that I can't sleep at night now, but of course you know that. But anyway, when I do go to sleep, they're waking me up. So he's like, "No, we gotta stop this."
yeah. No, that's why I put the time. Let me see if I can grab it. I'm short, so I'm fine. Yeah.
He's like, "No, this is messing with her energy."
Here's my sign that hangs on my
He
door.
doesn't have no part of it. So.
It says Sacred Mother on duty from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. for spirit work. Crossovers. No,
That's
I'm
cool.
not. I'm not messing with them. Crossovers will be done on Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays. They made me change the days though.
Well, yeah, you know
At,
they can read it.
yeah, at or around 9 p.m. Thank you. And I put my initial, and I have it, and then I have my other little extra 500 max sign because that's how many I'll cross over at one time. Yeah, and I hang this on my door so that they know. Well, no, this is the deal. Don't try to annoy me.
Well, y'all, I gotta end this. I gotta get down and I gotta go potty, and that's gonna take a while. So
Oh
just saying.
yeah, and
So
we've been
anyway,
here 3.5 hours, so
I
I'm gonna
appreciate
be.
everybody. Thanks for coming in and seeing us and hanging out with Christina before I got here, and thanks for hanging out with us. Hi, Cassie. I know I just seen you come in. I think. Anyway, but I'll see you all tomorrow night in the chat on Christina's. Talk to
Yeah.
y'all later. I'll talk to
Bye.
you. I'll talk to you in Messenger.
Yeah, you're talking to me. I won't. I won't be live. I won't be live tomorrow. It will just be a video, okay? So just so you guys know, it will be a video that comes up at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that will be Kevin's story. So if you're a little late, you don't have to worry. It will be there on YouTube for you guys to watch. So yeah. So so that's what's going on there. And I really thank all you guys for coming in and showing your support for Diane and Benny and me and Mary and yeah, and for everybody who um listened to Danny's story and sub to him. I really appreciate it. You'll really like the if you like the watching somebody build an off-grid cabin from scratch, you'll really like that channel. Like I said, he also does he has his paranormal channel, but he also does the strongman. So if you like to watch the strongman stuff, he comes up with all these great exercises. He even has exercises for people who are like wheel bound, in the wheelchair bound. Came up with exercises for that. Um, you're okay, Benny. So he came up with exercises for when you're in the wheelchair and stuff. So even if if there's someone who's disabled and can't do too much, I mean, he was in a wheelchair, not even, I want to say 3 years now he's been out, but he got out of the wheelchair. Then he needed, crutches. No, then he needed a walker. Then he had crutches and a cane, and and then just last summer he was training for strongman with a cane. Okay, so let me tell you, um, so yeah. I've had to tell them to go to the light. Yeah. Good for you, Jack. Oh, let me hang up, back up my sign because that's a lifesaver. Now I want to the chat to move, damn you. Um. So yeah. So yeah, come tomorrow. Watch the video. I'll definitely see you guys. Benny, are you guys gonna do a Sunday show this Sunday? I know last Sunday you didn't do it, but I think that's because you were on my show Saturday night. So yeah, we'll definitely see you Sunday at Diane's if they do a show. Sunday night, by the way, Eddie and Jen, if you've seen them in the chat, they do a paranormal show. I actually think they're gonna do some kind of what are you gonna do? Some kind of game, Eddie or Jen, if you're still here. I think they're gonna do some kind of try not to laugh challenge next Sunday, so that should be fun. That's Sunday night. That's usually 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday that they go on. Um, so I might be on their panel doing the try not to laugh challenge. So yeah, so that will be fun. So yeah, we're gonna have a fun weekend. We have the story Friday. Saturday night I will be live. I don't think I'll have interviews. I'm if it's nice and not raining, maybe we'll do a walk. Um we'll do a walk around the neighborhood, see what's going on. Go to maybe there'll be a street fair or something we could go to. So maybe we'll go earlier if there's something going on like a street fair. If not, we'll just take a walk around the neighborhood. If it's kind of blah outside, then we can sit in the backyard and hang out and play games. Um, so yeah, we'll do something Saturday night. We'll see what we do. But that's my normal streaming is Wednesday night I do cards. Thursday night I try to do like an interview or we do some kind of paranormal stuff. And Saturday normally I would take a walk around the town or other interviews if that's the only day people could do interviews. So yeah. So those are my schedules. So I will see you guys somewhere on the tubes. Um Diane not say anything. Okay. So we'll see. We'll see if they go live. Um so yeah. We'll see you guys somewhere on the tubes. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you, Merge, for gifting the membership. Mermudge. I'm so Greek and Italian and from New York. It's not even funny. Um, Thank you to everybody who subscribed and who became members. We love you. Thank you, Wayne, for hanging out. Janelle and Kevin, thank you so much for doing the modding and dropping some links. And Benny, to you always for watching. Cassie for being here. Jackie. Um, and everybody else who's still here. Tony and Tommy. I think went to sleep though. Wayne, whoever's still here, Nina. I love all you guys, and we're gonna see you soon. Now it would be nice that I'm ending spirits that you could touch the thing and put on the end screen. That'd be good. Oh, I'm so glad you had a great time, Nina. It was good stories today. I guess I'm gonna have to do it. They decided they're not touching it. They're not gonna put on the end screen for us. Fine then. I'll do it myself. There's the end screen that they put on before, right? We'll give them the one that they like. And we will go to the goodbye screen.